from my end. I don't know
Oh,
why.
yeah, it is frozen, actually.
Yeah, it looks frozen from my end.
It is.
You're a ventriloquist as well.
Oh, yeah, it is frozen.
Oh no, frozen. So good.
Maybe if you click the turn camera off and on again button or something and see what happens.
I don't even know how to do that. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Of course, as soon as I hit start. Hang on.
Oh no.
People are watching. It's all right. Oh, he dropped out. Okay, maybe we'll have to bring him back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a great start. Hello, everyone. Just lost Harris. I'll bring him back.
Am I back?
Oh, you are back.
Oh, he's back.
All right.
Oh, that's all right. We lost you for a second.
Cool.
We don't have a camera, though. We've just got a weird orange screen.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yes.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know. As soon as I hit start, we lost your camera.
Oh no. Oh, great. All right. Let me just fix the camera. This is a great start.
Yeah, probably. I'll bring you back in, man. I'll send you another link, but we'll get started.
Okay. Just fix this camera here. All right. I'm gonna get out of the chat room. I'll be right back.
All right. Thanks, dude. Hello, everyone who is watching. We apologize. We have some technical difficulties. We will bring Harris back in a second. With me tonight, Ray from Asian Filmist.
Hey.
As usual. And Erik, Asian Movie Enthusiast.
Hello, everyone.
We also have a special guest, a guy that's, well, I've talked to for quite some time. I don't know about, I think, Ray, you mentioned you've spoken to Harris before a couple of times.
Yeah, on Twitter, we communicate a lot.
Okay. Yeah, Harris has watched my channel for some time. He's an Aussie film critic. He writes for like a few websites and things like that. And he talks about most movies, but he also specializes in Asian cinema. But he's having some technical difficulties, but we'll bring him back. So let's get this beast underway. Tonight we're talking about Asian directors in Hollywood. And now I want to preface this with something. We're not talking about Asian American directors. That is a podcast for another day. So we're going to specifically talk about Asian directors who originally worked in Asia and then decided to go over to the States because Jean-Claude Van Damme forced them. That's pretty much how it works. Oh, Harris is back.
Hey, finally.
All right. You get to do your big introduction now, Harris. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Oh, that was a perfect introduction with the webcam falling apart. Hi, everyone. My name is Harris Dang, and I've been working as a film critic, if you could call it that, for basically 2 years now. And I've written for websites in Australia like The Iris and Impulse Gamer, and I've also written for Asian film websites such in the UK. One set in the UK called Eastern Kicks, and another Asian film website called V Cinema. And yeah, you see like a handsome Asian guy out in the cinema by himself, it's most likely me.
Harris is also a very modest guy.
Clearly.
All right, so let's start. I'm just going to go what I see on screen here. Ray, I'm going to throw you in the deep end, dude. Who do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think for me, the first person that comes to mind when it comes to imports to Hollywood from Asia is John Woo. So maybe that's a good place to start.
I think so. So let's have a look at John Woo. What was John Woo's first? I think it was Hard Target, right?
I think it was Hard Target too, the one with Christian Slater.
Yeah.
No,
that was
Broken Arrow.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead.
I'm jumping ahead. Yeah, Hard Target was Van Damme.
You'll notice Van Damme will come up a lot in tonight's little chat. So Hard Target was basically, what is it? The Most Dangerous Game, that old story about rich people hunting poor people. And it was, I honestly think it's a pretty good movie. But Ray, I'll let you lead.
Well, I honestly haven't seen Hard Target, to be honest. I think like my first John Woo film from Hollywood was Broken Arrow. That's why I got my synopses mixed up. But I think with Van Damme, I haven't seen many Van Damme movies past like his big glory days, like back in the mid-90s, like with Bloodsport and Kickboxer, to be honest.
That's a shame, man.
Sorry, but I know. I think I felt I had this assumption that every Van Damme movie was going to be the same after a certain point in his career, and so I just stopped watching.
Well, you're right there.
I think that was my downfall. That's probably why I haven't checked out Hard Target yet.
Okay. Well, I have fond memories of Hard Target, because I was a kid, and my brother and I. We used to watch all the Wesley Snipes films, all the Van Damme films, all the 90s action guys. We would watch all their movies. Hard Target came out, and like I said earlier, it's kind of basically a rehash of The Most Dangerous Game, if anyone knows that. I guess it's classic literature now. Van Damme plays, obviously he's not American, but they get away with it. He plays like Cajun or something. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly? He's like from the deep south, so I just remember him saying "your daddy" a lot to that lady. Your daddy. We will find your daddy. Who is your daddy? Am I thinking of the right thing? He says "your daddy" all the time. Anyway, Lance.
That was Kindergarten Cop that you just quoted, though. But
I know, but I had to with the "your daddy" thing. Lance Hendrickson plays the villain who organizes these hunts of homeless people, and there's this pretty lady whose dad has gone missing, and she wants to find her dad, and she enlists the help of Jean-Claude. And it's a pretty decent action movie. From what I remember, there was an original cut, and it was hyper violent, and the American censorship board cut the film a lot, and I think you can get like a work print of it, and that's meant to be the superior version, but I just remember the old VHS version that I watched when I was a kid. But I enjoyed that one. I thought, for a first movie for John Woo, the film does have all of John Woo's films, they all look like a John Woo film, really. But I like that one. It's good. Erik, thoughts on Hard Target?
I have not seen this one in years, but I do remember it being pretty good. I mean, you got Lance Hendrickson, and his henchman was Arnold Vosloo, who most people know as the bad guy from Brendan Fraser's first Mummy film. And I always like seeing him and stuff for some reason. So, yeah, I thought this one was pretty good. And there was also a similar movie called Surviving the Game that was released in 1994, which starred Rutger Hauer, Ice-T, and Gary Busey. And that's another one about, taking people, kidnapping them, and then hunting them for game. And I liked that one, too. So it's kind of interesting how you had two films with that similar of a premise, like right within a year of one another. But Hard Target's a pretty entertaining flick. A pretty good, excursion into Hollywood cinema for John Woo when he first came in.
Harris, was Hard Target your first John Woo US film?
I believe so. It's either that or Bloodsport, one of them two. And Hard Target. I mean, if you want to see Van Damme with a mullet, I mean, there it is. That's your movie. But I remember those moments like where he punches the snake.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a part where
it's a rattlesnake, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a rattlesnake. Like he plans a trap where all the hunters are coming in. He bites the tail off the snake so people don't know the snake is there. And then the snake just bites the guy in the face. And then that just cracks me up, man. And he punches the stage before it happens, and it's just, that's just inspired, man. It's just
Is that the one where he stands on top of the motorbike and he's like surfing on the motorbike as well?
yeah, that's it.
I think that's that one as well. Oh man. But we've got for John Woo, he went from hard boiled to hard target, which was quite and then Ray, let's talk about Broken Arrow quickly, because that was his next film with Christian Slater and John Travolta.
Yeah, it was that the one where there was a stolen weapon and one of them went rogue? Was it John Travolta who went rogue?
I think so. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It's been years since I've seen that one.
Yeah, same here. And then I just remember it was like Christians, like John Travolta was like kind of a, what is it like? What is it like? Not a mentor, but just kind of someone who's worked with Christian Slater for years, and he goes rogue, and Christian Slater tries to hunt him down. And that's as much as I remember of that movie.
I don't remember Hard Target. I think that's probably one of the weaker ones for me.
You mean Broken Arrow?
Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow, yeah.
I remember it being incredibly stupid, like so stupid. I mean, you got Howie Long, the professional football player. He was in this too, as like one of Travolta's henchmen. And I remember it being stupid, but kind of fun to watch. I mean, you know, Travolta hams it up, and I could watch this one again. I didn't mind it.
Harris, do you have any fond memories of Broken Arrow?
Well, like Erik said, Travolta carves a slice of ham, and he overacts everyone in this damn thing. I still remember the dummy where Travolta dies, and the drill goes right into him. I still remember the dummy he's like a dummy. It's like a very bad plastic dummy when the drill goes into him. It's terrible.
Oh, man.
And there's like Christian Slater, like no personality compared to buddy Travolta. I mean, Travolta basically just gets his overacting performance and puts it in the next movie, in the next John Woo movie, which I won't name, but everyone will know anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, Christian Slater has pretty much made a career out of trying to be Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Heathers, exactly.
Failing. Yeah, the next one, I took his face off. Face Off, Nicolas Cage and John Travolta just giving you a big plate of cheese. You've got two men that look nothing alike. They're not even the same frame. Nicolas Cage is quite tall and lanky, and you've got Travolta, who's I don't know how I'd explain Travolta.
Pudgy?
Yeah, pudgy, I guess. But you got these guys like Nicolas Cage is probably like 6'2". Travolta's probably not that tall. I would say he's a lot. They're just, and we're meant to believe that once they swap faces, that sure, whatever. I remember really loving Face Off when I was a kid because I was a teenager and really dumb. And I was, oh yeah, Face Off, that'll be good. Because we saw The Rock earlier. That was like the year before, I think. The Rock was 96. And that's probably one of the better Michael Bay movies. But then you had John Woo coming back with Face Off. I watched that film a few years ago and it does not hold up at all. It is so mid-90s, it's not funny. Right? Ray looks
stunned, man.
Is this your favorite movie or something, Ray? Did I just insult you?
No, I haven't seen it in years. Same as all these movies on John Woo's Hollywood filmography. But I remember fondly. I have fond memories of Face Off. I watched it a few times growing up, like definitely more than 5. But I'm pretty sure, it's. Just thinking back on all like everything that's in it, it's definitely feels like one of those movies that won't hold up. But so many great like iconic Nicolas Cage moments. It's like I don't know. I think I love Nicolas Cage in that movie more just because it kind of defined my idea of Nicolas Cage and like just everything like stupid about him, like the scene where he like he's dressed up as a priest and he molests like some choir girl or something, and that face of just like it doesn't have to be there, but he just makes that face like
Everything turned up to 11. That's Cage.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe if I'll watch it again in the next, I don't know when, but I'll give it another try and see. But I'll just probably be laughing the whole time.
I did that thing where I went back and I watched a bunch of Nicolas Cage films. Like I watched The Rock, Face Off, Con Air. I think they were the 3 ones I watched, like the Jerry Bruckheimer ones. Oh man, Con Air doesn't hold up either. The best one. It says a lot when the best one is the Michael Bay film.
Oh.
Erik?
I think Face Off could be my favorite John Woo Hollywood project, personally. I like the premise of it, even though it's totally just not even remotely realistic. And Nicolas Cage in that one, yeah, he has some fantastic lines. And the action was good enough. It seemed to crescendo at the right times, and yeah, I don't know. There's something about that movie that I just find kind of interesting about it. Maybe the premise and the way things kind of turned out with the story. And yeah, that's probably my favorite Hollywood project from John Woo, actually.
Were there enough flying doves in the film for you?
Yeah.
At that point, it was getting ridiculous. Does he still do that? Did he do that? I haven't seen Manhunt yet.
Oh, he still does it.
He still does.
Oh, God. Oh, man. John Woo, what are we going to do with you? All right, so next we have...
I haven't said my...
sorry. What do you think about Facebook? Facebook.
Oh, Facebook sucks. Forget that. Okay, Face Off, that actually is one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Like, I enjoy it legitimately and I enjoy it ironically. So I laugh at it. Sometimes I laugh at it. Sometimes, I enjoy it, like, legitimately. And, yeah, like, there's enough acting in this movie for 10 movies. From Cage and Travolta, it's like enough for 10 movies, man. And, from what I've read, the movie was meant to be set in the future, but John Woo took it to the present. So that kind of makes sense why the premise is as ridiculous as it is. And I remember the actors that they tried to choose for the movie, like they went with like Schwarzenegger and Van Damme or something, and they went with like Michael Douglas and Harrison Ford or something. They have like all these weird pairings, and then it's like, yeah, let's just settle with Cage and Travolta. And it's like, we'll see how that turns out. And it was right after how Cage won his Best Actor Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas, and after that he was like, what the hell? I'll just make 3 action films in a row. Because, I have enough prestige already, so I just did The Rock, Face Off, and Con Air, and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, now his career is pretty much down the toilet, along with his comic book collection. All right, so next one we have, this movie has an Australian connection, Mission Impossible 2. I remember all the brouhaha about this. This was a big deal back in like the late 90s, early 2000s when Tom Cruise was still married to Nicole, and he decided he'll make a movie in Australia, and it was Mission Impossible 2. It's easily the worst Mission Impossible film. Easily. It's just shit. I remember seeing this film, and I was
to go in more detail.
Where do we begin? Richard Roxburgh? That was him, wasn't it? He was one of the bad guys. Oh God! The opening sequence, Tom Cruise likes to climb on rocks. Yep. I haven't seen this movie since it came out, like in 2000. I saw it in the cinema, and that was the first and last time I watched it. I can't remember a lot of it. I remember the bad guy was the guy that was meant to play Wolverine originally, and Hugh Jackman got the part because of what was the guy's name?
I think his name was Doug Ray Scott.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He was meant to be the original. He was. I think he was cast as Wolverine, wasn't he? And then something happened, or he chose to do Mission Impossible 2 over X-Men.
I think the filming went over long, and he just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really remember Mission. Can any of you guys remember that? Because I really don't remember Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, this movie legitimately kind of pisses me off, actually.
All right,
really hate this movie, kind of with a burning passion. I agree that it's like the worst. It's definitely the worst in this franchise, and I've seen like all of them up to the current one. And I think the problem was that the first film actually had some semblance of like reality to it, and then John Woo just kind of changed everything to fit his own like cliches, and it just became like a parody of himself. Like this is the movie where John Woo like finalized becoming a parody of himself. You know what I mean? It's just so much slow motion. Everybody, the acting in this movie is just atrocious, and really cheesy stuff. Pacing problems. I have so many notes here; it would take me an hour to go through them. But the only way I can kind of watch it if I just focus on Thandie Newton the whole time, just because she's so gorgeous. And like outside of that, there's really nothing good about this movie at all.
All right, Harris, you got anything to say about Mission Impossible 2?
Well, if you hated Mission Impossible 2, then you're gonna hate Manhunt. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you're gonna hate Manhunt. You think that's a parody? Wait till you watch Manhunt. That's where it all goes like it doesn't fit at all.
Right.
And that's the reason why I like Manhunt so much, because it's so bad.
So bad it's good.
Yeah, like there's so much old aesthetic filmmaking, like freeze frames and saxophones in the musical score. Like it's just so old school. It's ridiculous. I laughed my ass off when I heard the saxophone in the music score, man. That's just the first 5 minutes.
Wow.
And wait till you hear the English dialogue. That's just bad.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's really good. Anyway, back to Mission Impossible 2.
Do you remember it was a big thing here? Like when they were making it? I remember it. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the advertisements and all the posters and everything. Yeah, and I still remember Tom Cruise's long ass hair. Like apparently John Woo wanted him to have long hair because it suited the slow motion. So it's like the long lustrous hair, like like the mane of a horse or some shit. But yeah, I remember the fight at the end, man. It's so ridiculous. Like especially how it starts, like two motorbikes, and they're
it was like
riding
a jousting or something, right?
Yeah, and they're jumping towards each other, and all of a sudden they end up falling off a cliff, and they're like, "Yeah, we landed on rocks, but we're fine, we didn't break any bones. It's all cool." And then they start fighting each other, and all these like martial arts kicks happen, and it's like, oh god, this is just hilarious. Oh, and there's a porno. I remember there's a scene where Thandie Newton and Tom Cruise they flirt in the bathtub because where else would you do it? And you hear like this porno music like score. I swear you should watch it again and listen to the music. It's just that embarrassing, man.
Thandie Newton in a bathtub.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you got Tom Cruise in there.
It's just. Yeah. And of course, like they had that car chase where the two cars are together and shit. It looks like the two cars are having sex or something. I don't know. It's just that bad, man. Oh.
I'm glad I erased that from my memory. Ray, do you have anything to say about Mission Impossible 2?
I remember watching it in the cinemas and genuinely enjoying it over the first one. I don't know. I guess I was all a sucker for that kind of like ridiculous, nonsensical action. I do remember the motorbikes. And that's probably the clearest memory I have of that movie, other than like the bouldering in the beginning and his mission delivered via sunglasses, and then the sunglasses exploding in slow motion. I thought, all right.
And that was Anthony Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
That's Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, sorry. Nah, he lost that title when he made the last Transformers movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I couldn't even finish that. Oh man.
All right, next we have. He's back with. I think it's Christian Slater and Nicolas Cage again, right? With Wind Talkers.
I didn't realize those two were in it.
I think I could be wrong.
It was Nicolas Cage, definitely, but I'm looking at the Wikipedia. It's Adam Beach.
Okay,
What's
so
the name of
Christian Slater.
Yeah,
No.
he's a Native American.
Oh, Adam Beach.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
What is it? It's about it takes place during World War II, and the American soldiers use Native Americans and their language to deliver deliver messages to each other, and no one else could decipher them because no one else speaks the language.
Okay.
And
well, at least they actually cast a Native American in the role.
Yeah, no whitewashing. That's good.
I never saw Wind Talkers. I'll be honest, never saw it. Oh no, Christian Slater is in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Oh, he was. Oh, there he is right there. So was Mark Ruffalo, apparently.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm guessing, was this film any good? Because I never saw it.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I don't remember much John Woo isms in it. Like, I don't remember like double-fisted guns. I don't really remember any doves either. I could be wrong. I could just be misremembering it. But I thought it was pretty good. I think it was a pretty standard war movie. But I didn't hate it. I don't remember much of it at the same time. But like, it wasn't stupid and fun like his previous films that we were talking about. So, at least not to my memory.
A little bit more serious, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, do you remember that one?
I remember watching the trailer when I was at a movie theater, and I just never ended up watching it. But I like Mark Ruffalo too, and just the cast kind of. It's got Peter Stormare in it too, so I might actually check it out. I've never seen it though.
Yeah. Harris, have you seen this one?
Nah, I haven't seen that either. I just remember the cast, like, oh, there's Mark Ruffalo in it, and then Adam Beach as that guy in Suicide Squad is only in it for like 10 seconds before he died.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, depends on how you look at it. At least it doesn't have to be another Suicide Squad film. All right, well, the next one is Paycheck, and this is where it all went to shit. I think
John Woo or Ben Affleck?
Well, Aaron Eckhart still had I, Frankenstein in him, so you've got Uma Thurman, Ben Affleck, and Aaron Eckhart in Paycheck. This is Hollywood doing all they can with Philip K. Dick ideas. I think after Blade Runner came out, they all just went crazy and bought the rights to any Philip K. Dick story. And then this is, when did Minority Report come out?
I think a year before Paycheck.
Yeah, so I think this was trying to capitalize on the whole Minority Report thing. I didn't see this film in the cinema. I saw this on home video, and I don't remember it. It said Ben Affleck won a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor for his performance in Paycheck. Oh my god!
Just that movie only, or
no? It was that and a bunch of others for that year,
like that Christmas movie that he did.
But yeah, I really don't remember Paycheck. All I remember is it being very generic sci-fi wannabe Minority Report. Does anybody remember it?
Paycheck was the one where, like, it's sci-fi, right? And then he leaves. Doesn't Ben Affleck have like some kind of ability to foretell the future, and he leaves himself different items that helps him escape from the government or something like that?
Yeah, it is, like with a coin or a paperclip. Like, it's kind of like MacGyver or something.
Yeah, then he has to like kind of figure out like what to do with the paperclip in whatever situation he like. Or no, rather, all the items are like in an envelope, right? An envelope, and he just like, okay, what'll be do good in this situation, and he just MacGyvers it the hell out of everything all the way through. That's all I remember. I don't remember much else about it. I watched it only once, and I thought, oh well, there was that, you know.
It was that. That's a recommendation right there, man.
It actually made money. It had a budget of 60 million and made almost 100 million. That's surprising to me. And it's got a really impressive cast. You've got Ben Affleck, Uma Thurman, Aaron Eckhart, Paul Giamatti, and Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall. I don't remember even that. Okay.
Yeah, who knows? Harris, have you got anything to say about Paycheck?
Well, my favorite scene of that movie is when Ben Affleck is training with a fighting stick with like 4 poles around him, and it just reminded me of his training for Batman vs Superman. He just holding the stick and just hitting it back and forth with Paul Giamatti egging him on, and it just reminded me of that, and it made me laugh so much. But other than that, yeah, it is quite generic, and Aaron Eckhart does the Aaron Eckhart performance of, you know, being all villainous and, you know, showing off his chin and all that. Yeah. I mean, that's all he does, man.
Aaron Eckhart's chin. Needs its own IMDb page. All right, let's move on. We'll stick with Hong Kong directors. Let's go to Ronny Yu. Does anybody remember Ronny Yu?
The Kangaroo movie.
Yeah, but he did The Bride with White Hair, which is considered a classic. I really like that movie, and obviously the sequel. But in 1997, he made a Chinese-American co-production called Warriors of Virtue. And as Harris said, it's the Kangaroo movie.
Oh, man, I remember this movie.
The Kung Fu Kangaroos.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. Because why would a Chinese mythology have Kung Fu Kangaroos, you know, from Australia?
Wasn't it one of those like this kid gets sucked into some kind of portal that he has?
Yeah, I reviewed this like last year because somebody, I can't remember, I think it was a Patreon supporter suggested it. It's typical 90s movie, and it's 1997, and I did that thing when I watched it. I'm like, it feels like a movie made in 1992.
Yeah, it feels older. Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like, in my head, I'm like, really? That was 97? Because I thought I was much younger. But the movie is about a white American kid who has a friend. And it's the guy from Big Trouble in Little China who is like a chef at a restaurant. And he teaches him, gives him some book, and he learns some ancient Chinese shit. And then he gets sucked into a portal. And this weird world where there are like kangaroos that are all like mystical, and there's this over-the-top British villain who just wants to it's really dumb, really.
Well, he's a villain because he's British, so that makes perfect sense.
Warriors of Virtue. Erik sitting there in silence.
I've never seen this one.
Really? You don't even remember it?
No, not at all.
I went to like, where did I go? It was like a secondhand market thing recently, and there was a guy there selling Warriors of Virtue toys in mint condition, and I was this close to buying one just to put it on that shelf behind me. See if anyone would notice he wanted like $50 a figure, and I was like, nah, man.
Oh, $50. Okay.
Yeah, no. Like that Bruce Lee thing I've got behind. I've got that giant Bruce Lee. I paid at that same fair. I paid like $20 for that. I'm like, I can get a 12-inch Bruce Lee, or I can get a Warriors of Virtue for $50. No thanks. $5. I'll give you $5 for the Warriors of Virtue.
$5.
And after that, Ronny Yu did Bride of Chucky, which I kind of enjoy, and he did Freddy versus Jason.
I didn't realize he did all these movies. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
He also did The 51st State, but that's an English film, so that doesn't count.
Never seen it anyway. So.
Yeah, that's the one with Robert Carlyle. But so it's really weird. He went to the States, made a kids film, Bride of Chucky, which was like the first Chucky film in probably close to a decade at that point. and Freddy versus Jason, something that I know was in production hell for quite some time. Bride of Chucky, I like as a guilty pleasure. I like the Chucky movies, actually. At that point, they knew what they were with the comedy horror thing. And Freddy versus Jason, kind of a missed opportunity, I would say. But anybody want to talk about Bride of Chucky?
Thought it was watchable. It's not nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. I'll tell you that much. There was actually a few funny moments in it, and I thought for some reason I think the ending I didn't really like that much. But overall, it was decent stuff.
Right? Do you remember Bride of Chucky?
I watched it, but I don't remember it. I think there was one point in my life when I just marathoned all the Chucky movies.
Yeah.
But because I did that, they kind of blended in with each other. So I don't remember specific details other than what's the actress that was in it.
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly. I just remember that she was the Bride of Chucky, and she still plays it to this day.
Yeah.
What was the most recent one? There was Curse of Chucky. Then there was
the one in the mental hospital.
Chucky, I think.
Yeah, Cult of Chucky. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Brad Dourif's daughter she's like taken over as the new kind of lead. She does a pretty good job actually in those films. But again, they know what they are, and they're low budget horror comedies. So Harris, thoughts on Bride of Chucky?
Bride of Chucky. I did enjoy that movie, and I did like the turn it was going in a more comedic way. And I remember Katherine Heigl was in it. Is that her? Katherine Heigl? I think she was in it. I think it was. Anyway, other than that, it was quite funny. Yeah, I would watch it again though. I haven't seen the Chucky movies in ages though.
Yeah, Katherine Heigl was in it. Good memory.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, the last one I saw was Cursed, and I enjoyed that. And yeah, I would like to see Cult very soon.
Anybody have any thoughts on Freddy versus Jason? I remember watching that in the cinema, and I was really excited because I think, was it the year before or 2 years earlier, it was Jason X. Was that 2001?
Jason X. Memories.
Exactly.
where director David Cronenberg gets killed and someone
the first 5 minutes, yeah.
Something like that. And someone gets her head shoved in I don't know, what's that chemical that makes you the chemical in Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, yeah.
Yeah. It gets the head slammed right on the table and it shatters.
Ray, you remember Freddy versus Jason?
Do I remember Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah.
I remember, for me, it's a guilty pleasure. Like, I know it's hilariously bad, but it's kind of like, I watched it in the theaters as well, and I genuinely hated it. But then kind of rewatching again with the right crowd of friends, it's kind of like you just laugh at everything. It's like, you have the victims running away from the two monsters, and it's all about, just having fun with run away, bitch, you ain't gonna escape. That kind of thing. It's like, who's gonna get her? It's just stupid. Like, I don't know. I think at that point, the way I viewed both Freddy and Jason, like, I don't know. I think, did this come up before or after New Nightmare? I can't even remember.
Oh, this is way after New Nightmare.
Way after New Nightmare. But I think
New Nightmare was like 94 or something.
Because New Nightmare was great, but I think for the most part, ever since Nightmare, even since the second or third one, and even ever since the second or third Friday movie, I just couldn't take him seriously. So this was just like the climax of all of that. And so I just learned to just kind of take that, like how the movies weren't as good as they used to be, and just learn to laugh along with it, like with Freddy versus Jason.
Cool. Eric?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I saw it in the theater myself, and I think I remember enjoying it when I left the theater. But then when I rewatched it, I kind of liked it a little less. I think it has its moments, but I think they could have made it. I think my problem was a lot of the protagonists were just a waste of time. I think they could have focused maybe a little bit more on Freddy and Jason and that, but it was all right.
All right. Then after that, Ronny Yu went back and he directed Fearless, a very good Jet Li film in my opinion.
And Saving General Yang, which is
yeah.
also pretty solid.
And that hasn't done anything in like the last 5 years.
Maybe he's looking forward for another Freddy movie.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be happening any soon. They'll probably reboot it.
Wait a second. He hasn't made a movie with Van Damme yet.
I know. Well,
I can't wait for that one, man.
Warriors of Virtue reboots.
yeah. I'm sure you watched that film and they totally thought that was going to be like a series. They thought they were on to the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They just didn't realize they were about 10 years too late.
I remember the bad guy in Warriors of Virtue. You stole a line from the Warriors.
Yeah.
Warriors come out and play.
Yeah.
It's like, Warriors come out and play. It's like, what?
What's going on?
I know what's going on. I'm looking through its Wikipedia page, and apparently Doug Jones is in it too.
He is. Yeah, he plays one of the kangaroos, of course.
I guess you got to start off somewhere. But
yeah, you got to start off somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta go from kangaroo to bring a sea monster with a big penis, and that won Best Picture.
Yeah, one of the most overrated films of last year, in my opinion. Ooh,
oh, really?
Controversial statement. Yeah. I think it's an overrated movie. All right, let's move on. Let's go Korea, because there's only two that I'm aware of. We'll go with Park Chan-wook, because he's made the most respectable film out of the two, I think, with Stoker. Two Australian actresses, with Nicole Kidman and Mia Wasikowska, I can never pronounce the name correctly.
I think it's a Wasikowska.
Ah, yeah. It's like Russian or something, or Polish. Anyway, she's got that European last name like I do that people can't pronounce, so it's fine. Yeah, so Stoker's, if you guys know Hitchcock, there's a Hitchcock film called Shadow of Doubt, which was about Uncle Charlie. And I think that's where this movie clearly gets its inspiration from.
Yeah, true.
It was written by Wentworth Miller, who was in Prison Break, of all things. One of the guys from Prison Break wrote this film. And look, it's okay, in my opinion. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Nicole Kidman, so it's hard for me to watch a film with her as the lead or one of the leads and like it. Did have Jackie Weaver in it as well. I don't know why half the cast are Australian in this, but they just are.
Represent.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those movies I watched once and I was like, I didn't know how I felt after watching it, because it was like, it didn't really feel like a Park Chan-wook film to me. What do you guys think? Eric, I want your thoughts on this one.
Thought it was a pile of crap.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, this one really kind of surprised me, because I thought it was going to be pretty solid. I mean, Chan-wook Park had yet to make a film that disappointed me, and this was the first one. I think my problem, I don't know, I think it's a combination of the performances and the script itself. Like Mia and that Matthew Good guy, I just thought they just, I don't know, I didn't like their performances in this very well. The dialogue felt kind of artificial and stiff to me, the way it was written. And I don't know if that's a language barrier or not. Apparently, I've read that Park actually read Wentworth Miller's script and liked it like a lot in the script writing phase. So, you know, at least he liked that portion. But also Wentworth Miller went on to write a movie called The Disappointments Room, which I haven't seen, but is generally considered to be one of the worst films of the past few years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about this Stoker. Like I do watch a lot of like art house movies per se, but this one just hit all the wrong notes for me. It just felt kind of shallow, and but it is nicely shot and directed. But it's just I think the script and the performance is really what tanked it for me.
Yeah, I think the thing with Korean directors that have, pardon me, that have done like English language films, and this goes with Bong Joon-ho as well. it's the there's a lot lost in translation because from what I understand, these guys, and I saw with Bong Joon-ho in Sydney, and his English was okay, and he even said he needed Stephen Ewan from Okja to do a lot of the translating for him on set. That was pretty much why he was actually around a lot more than what he needed to be. And I know Kim Ji-woon really struggled with the movie we'll probably talk about next. So I don't really know about Park Chan-wook. I'm going to go with my gut feeling and say it's probably a similar thing where he's trying to direct them and maybe his English level isn't as high as it needs to be, or he didn't have a translator, and then things get lost in translation because the director's telling the translator and then the translator's telling the actor. So it's really the translator that's, doing the directing at that point. Ray, have you seen Stoker?
I've seen Stoker, although I don't remember much of it. I remember being not bothered too much by it. I'm looking through the synopsis. I can't remember the story all that too well. But I just remember it was about a weird family, right? About a girl who lives with a weird family. And that's all I can remember of it, to be honest. But yeah, I remember not being disappointed with it. At the same time, not really not really thrilled by it. It was just kind of like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I think it's easily the worst film in his filmography. Harris, your thoughts on Stoker?
I actually quite like Stoker a lot, actually.
Okay.
But this was years ago. It was like back when it came out. But I remember being amazed by it in a way, like how beautiful it looked, and I like the understated performances and some and like Matthew Good was really good in that movie as well. That's what I thought. And the Hitchcockian elements are all there. I watched Shadow of a Doubt just a few days ago, actually. So it's definitely all there. Uncle Charlie, and then the niece likes the uncle, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. And yeah, I remember liking it a lot, actually. Actually, the actor that plays Han Solo in that prequel that's coming out soon or whatever, yeah, he's in Stoker.
Oh.
He's the one that gets killed with like a belt or something, and his neck just breaks back. Like, I actually remember that part very well in Stoker. I might make an animated gif out of it, but whatever.
Well, if I watch Solo and I don't like it, I'll watch Stoker again just to see him get killed.
That poor guy's career is fucked. I think he's screwed because Star Wars fanboys are gonna hate him. And then from what I've read, Ron Howard didn't like him, and he was hired by those original guys because he was good at improv, because he just come off an the Coen Brothers movie. So they were making a comedy because that's what those guys do. And then, poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
I just feel sorry for him, really. Because he's getting all the hate, and it's like, it's not his fault.
It's like when you see the trailers, like, let's not show him that much. Let's show more Lando and all the other people. Chewbacca, really. And it's like, we'll hear Solo's lines in the background instead of him on screen instead.
Yeah, it's like, where's Solo in the Solo movie? All right, so let's go on to Kim Ji-woon with the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic, The Last Stand. A movie. I'm going to go with Erik here, like what Erik said about the last one. I think this movie is fucking terrible. I hated this film. I saw it as nothing but product placement for Chevy and McDonald's. What else was thrown in there? It was basically spot the product placement, the movie. Schwarzenegger's comeback film after being the Governator for several years with Johnny Knoxville, who was only good at drinking horse semen, in my opinion.
Oh, man, you had to bring that back in my mind, man. That's disgusting.
Hey, I didn't create Jackass.
No. It's just, I'm just glad I'm not doing any of that stuff now.
Yeah, The Last Stand is just a complete mess of an action film, in my opinion. And the worst possible film to get one of South Korea's best and most respected directors to direct. Erik, I'm going to go straight to you, man.
I find this one to be somewhat watchable. It's yeah, I agree with everything, all your criticisms there. It's really not a good movie, but I don't know, there's something about this where it just kind of, it's got enough action to it. It's the pacing's not too bad. Wasn't Forrest Whitaker in this too at one point? So he
was
helps
like
a
the
little
FBI
bit.
agent or something.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see people hating this one. For some reason, though, I don't know. I thought the action was decent enough. The governor, or Arnold was kind of doing his thing. So, and the cars were kind of cool.
Because it was a Chevy ad for 2 hours.
When you have to resort to the cars to praise the film, that's saying something.
Dude, there was those shots of the car, and they're like, they made sure. It was like, oh my god. Even the poster, isn't there like the Chevy's like right there, and it looks like, I don't know. It's just I don't
in your face, the photo.
Harris, your thoughts on this one?
I'm with Erik. It's somewhat watchable, and I like the cast in it. What's her name? The actress that plays Sif in Thor.
Jamie Alexander.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. She's in it, and you got Louise Guzman. I'm just butchering the names here, and Peter Stormare's in it as well. I remember him as one of the villains. He's always a villain, so of course. And I think it was fine. It's just clearly Kim Ji-woon's doing a hard target. That's what it really is. He's doing a hard target. We're not doing it as well, which is saying so, because hard target isn't that much of a film either.
Yeah, I know, but it made sense for John Woo to direct a silly action movie. It makes no sense for Kim Ji-woon to direct a silly action film.
It's like, how do you go from I Saw the Devil to that?
Yeah, Good, the Bad, the Weird, A Bittersweet Life, Tale of Two Sisters, The Foul King, Quiet Family, just some of the best Korean films of all time. And then, he came back with The Age of Shadows, which was pretty good. And then
it usually feels like, on a side note, a lot of these directors, a lot of times when they come over here and make a movie, it almost feels like an opportunity cost. It's like, well, they could have made a movie, somewhere else and maybe made a better movie. Even if the movie here turns out to be pretty good, usually feels like an opportunity cost to me.
Yeah, it's the same with like South Korean Asian actors, and I don't mean like obviously again not Asian American actors, but you get people like Lee Byung-kyun, and they cast him in fucking Red 2 and Terminator Genesis, and then what are you people doing? Did you even watch their films? Like, who actually did Arnold Schwarzenegger have enough pull power at that stage to go, I want the South Korean guy? Would he even know?
You are saying his accent.
I want him.
I want Lee Byung-hyun to be in this movie.
I love the good, the bad, and the weird. I want him
it's
my
a
movie
great
too.
movie. No.
This Terminator movie sucks. Let's reboot it again.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Ray, your thoughts on this one?
I remember liking it. Like,
I'm the odd one out here. That's fine.
Like, I don't know. I have a thing for watching my favorite action heroes all aged up and trying to do action movies again. I don't know. I kind of like give them a lot of leeway. Like even like guys like in the Expendables, how they're all like they can barely move, but they still try.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, they're doing their best. I mean, I still have fond memories of Terminator 2. So I didn't hate it. I genuinely liked it.
Yeah. The only one of those guys that's doing like still making good movies is Sylvester Stallone, as far as I'm concerned. You got Creed, and the last Rambo movie was pretty good. Yeah,
It's the old exploitation genre. That's what you probably call it.
Yeah, old exploitation.
I was gonna call it. I was gonna call it the dad exploitation.
Yeah, notice
But
Steven Seagal wasn't welcome in any of those movies
oh, fuck you.
because he's a dickhead. That's why.
Yeah, it's a loser, man. I hate Steve Seagal.
Oh,
I like these old movies like Hard to Kill, but
all right, next one. All right, who do you want to talk about next?
Probably got to do Tsui Hark at some point, right?
Yeah, let's do him. All right. Well, Eric, you dropped it, so after you.
All right, so Tsui Hark. So he goes, known in Hong Kong for directing films like The Blade, Once Upon a Time in China films, the Young Detective D films. And it was kind of funny because he directed The Blade in 1995, which is an awesome movie for anybody who hasn't seen it. And then he goes on to direct 2 Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, Double and Knockoff. And then he miraculously recovered and went back and made Time and Tide in 2000, which is a good movie. So, he had he got the itch to direct Van Damme, and he scratched the itch, and then he went back. So Double Team. This is an all-time classic experience for me. I remember in high school, actually I just graduated high school, and me and my buddies went to see Double Team, just knowing it was going to be terrible. I mean, you got Van Damme and Dennis Rodman in an action movie, and we were the only people in the theater the time that we went. It was one of the funniest 2 hours. We were just laying into the movie. So this one, this definitely has a lot of funny stuff. There's some memorable moments near the beginning. Oh, there's a foreign female assassin that has some of the most fantastic lines of dialogue you'll ever see. I think she said something like, they're like, who's this chick? And she has her gun and she goes, I could shoot the dick off a hummingbird or something like that. It was amazing. And then, so it's really just a really funny movie. Dennis Rodman tries to act. They have the inflatable basketball. And then Mickey Rourke is that dude, he was chiseled in this movie. When he takes his shirt off at the end, he was ripped. And Mickey Rourke was a great villain. Well, I don't know about great, but he was a funny villain. And
he knew what movie he was in. That's the thing.
Yeah, so Double Team was just, it was a good experience for me.
I'm not going to talk about Double Team because, or Knockoff. I'm going to leave this to you guys because I might be making a special video talking about
okay.
But Ray, knock yourself out. Double Team. Your favorite film, from what I remember.
Really?
I don't know about that. I didn't actually watch this in the theater or on DVD. I watched it when it was playing on TV. It was one of those like movie hours on TV. And because of that, I don't remember much of it. It was just kind of in the background. I just remember Rodman and Van Damme just trying to clip each other, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just with all that, with those 90s one-liners, and I don't remember much else, to be honest.
You don't remember, or you just repressed it all?
It could be that. As with a lot of Van Damme's later movies, it's as I said earlier. I don't know. I just remember I was oh, it's on TV. I might as well just put it on while I do something else more productive. But yeah, how about you, Harris? I don't remember much of that.
Double Team. The disguises were fucking awful. The wigs and the glasses or whatever, it's just awful. And I remember the fight scene between the actor that played Clubfoot in Once Upon a Time in China movies, actually. He plays this bald killer or something that uses his feet to hold a knife and kick Van Damme with it or some shit like that. And it looks just so over the top. And yes, there's the final fight scene between him, JCB, and Mickey Rourke. And you can tell that they're using the same shots over and over, the same kicks, because clearly they didn't get Van Damme to shoot enough footage to freaking do a fight scene properly. It's just awful. And isn't the story kind of like The Island or something, like a bunch of guys on an island and are wearing the same costumes or some shit and have to stay there or something. Try the lottery or something. Like the story is just so weird, and the one-liners. There's one liner is Rodman says "airball" at one point. Like what the fuck was that? It's just and Van Damme fights a tiger. How could I forget that? Or was it a tiger? Yeah, he fights a tiger.
Yeah, it's a tiger, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Russell Crowe fighting a tiger. Get out of here, Van Damme's It's just awful. And of course, the bloody Coke machine at the end with the explosion. Oh god.
Because you know when there's a huge explosion in a Coliseum-like building and you have to save a newborn baby, all you have to do is roll a Coke machine in front of you and you'll be perfectly safe.
Same with a nuclear bomb. When that goes off, you just jump in a fridge. Perfectly fine.
That happens in Time of Tide, actually. Yeah. So when I watched Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in the cinema, I was like, "That's from Time and Tide. What the hell? Am I the only one that noticed this?" That's exactly the same.
As we all know, George Lucas likes to borrow his ideas from other things.
Ah, yeah, of course.
All right, knockoff. Erik,
Oh.
back to you.
Oh, man, I forgot to write down notes on this one, so I have to go off. I remember this one is even more ridiculous than Double Team. I mean, that Choi really went all out. I remember some of the camera shots in this were ridiculous. Like there's one where Van Damme's having a race, okay? And, you know, he's with, I think Michael Wong is in this and a few other guys. And Van Damme's running and his shoe, like he's running so fast and hard and he's got these big muscles that he actually rips his shoe apart because he's running so fast. And the camera like zooms into his shoe and shows it like ripping apart. It's like, I don't know what Hark was thinking in this one. It's just so like Double Team at least attempted a semblance of seriousness, but Knockoff was just so outrageous. So yeah, I kind of like this one too, actually. And I'm trying to remember specific moments. There's oh man, oh yeah, I think one of the big moments is like on a shipping dock or a ship near the end, and Van Damme's like sliding on the ground, like on water or oil or something, like between the car. Yeah, so I like this. Actually, I'm getting the itch to do a double feature of these two.
That's what I'll be doing soon. I'm gonna force Nathan to watch them again, and we're going to do like basically an episode of Rehash, but it won't be Rehash. Which is everything we do is basically the same thing where we talk shit about terrible movies, and we're going to talk about Knockoff and Double Team.
Please.
That's I know.
Well, does anybody else like Knockoff, or am I all by myself?
Yeah.
No, I love Knockoff. I absolutely love it. Like, I'm looking at the review that I've written it right now. Just the things that I said about it, like, oh my god, the camera shots, like the shoe camera, of course. And there's one shot where a guy gets his neck cut, and the shot is coming out from the neck wound. Like, you see the guy cutting your neck from like the point of view of the person's neck. Like, what the hell was that? It's like the weirdest shots ever. And there's Michael Wong, who's a fantastic actor. Of course he is. Come on, he's terrible. Just admit it. And Rob Schneider and
Rob Schneider is.
Yeah, annoying as hell. I mean, you thought he was annoying in Judge Dredd. Where do you see him in this thing? And it's the ADR is terrible. Like the dubbing, like no one speaks. It's like watching those old Hong Kong movies where they don't dub themselves. Basically, it's just it's like that, but American. It's like a knockoff of a Hong Kong movie made by a very bad Hollywood director. That's knockoff. I mean,
it's called knockoff. Well, that's how they got it.
Yeah, and the plot, like the batteries that are like watch batteries that are bombs or some shit. It's like green flame and everything. It's just there's so much you can talk about this movie. There is so goddamn much. And
All right. Ray?
Haven't seen it, but now I really want to.
Oh, please. You have to see this movie, man.
Oh man, knockoff. Who do we want to talk about? So that's it for him, right? He went back and actually made. God, he made a lot. Journey to the West, The Demon Strike Back. That was him.
Yeah, he directed it.
Oh no!
And it seemed like he got directorial control, which is kind of surprising because you got Stephen Chow producing the damn thing.
Well, while we're talking about Van Damme, who's the other one?
Ringo Lam.
Ringo Lam. All right, Harris, what was the first one?
Maximum Risk, where he plays twins. Of course he does.
Oh my god, that's so original.
I honestly don't remember much about it. Like, I only mentioned the movie because I was watching Prison on Fire a few hours ago. It was directed by Ringo Lam, and it just came up in my mind, like, holy shit, he actually did Maximum Risk. Well, from what I remember of it, it was fine, and I think Van Damme shows his ass in this, like he always does. Like, he's either Universal Soldier or Double Impact, he always shows his ass. And there's always a hot lead where he has sex with because it's Van Damme.
It was the chick from Species in this, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
She was hot at that time because Species came out, and Species was 95, I think.
Species. I keep bringing up Michelle Williams being in that movie, and people just won't believe me.
Yeah, she's the young one, right?
Yeah, exactly. I keep telling her, what? She's in it? But yeah, Maximum Risk, it's not a Ringo Lam picture. It's just a Van Damme feature, and that's what you expect.
Why did Van Damme take it upon himself to ruin all these people's careers?
Just what I was about to say. You should give Van Damme credit for getting Asian directors in Hollywood. You just have to say that.
All right. Erik, your thoughts on Maximum Risk? I really don't remember Maximum Risk at all.
Well, this is another interesting situation where Ringo Lam, he did City on Fire, Full Contact, and then Burning Paradise, which was awesome. And then he went to Maximum Risk. But unfortunately, I really don't remember his Hollywood movies very much. I know I watched all of them, and I think there's like 3 of them. But Maximum Risk, I just remember it being a little flimsy. Like, it didn't really have much oomph to it or much. It wasn't really fun to watch. I don't know if there was a lack of action or maybe the action didn't really pop for me, but all I remember from it is that I just thought it was kind of mediocre overall.
Ray, do you remember this one?
I want to say I watched it, but then I'm looking through the synopsis. Like, he plays twins in this one. It's not. I thought it was like there's another movie he played twins, right?
Double Impact.
Double Impact.
I'm like getting the 2 movies mixed up. I'm like, I don't. So how did the Van Damme twins differ in this movie?
I think one of them dies in the beginning or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't actually like fight together. Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, this one now.
Oh, maybe I haven't watched this one then. Damn, getting my Van Dammes mixed up.
It's understandable.
What was the second film?
Replicant?
Yeah. I don't even know. Did that one go direct to DVD?
Probably. I just remember seeing it on the cable channel.
Yeah, I don't
IMDb.
remember that getting a theatrical release here in Australia. I think that was like where Van Damme started to go direct to video. Well, a lot of these guys.
The cesspool of straight to video.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, before Replicant, they came out with Simon Says, another Rodman action flick.
No,
Says.
Not Rodman, man.
Oh no, I don't want to know. He's too busy playing in North Korea. He's fine.
Oh, apparently, Ringo Lam wasn't the director. He was the producer of that film, not the director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
IMDb lists him as a director, but
Of Simon Says.
So Simon Says.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Of Simon Says.
Replicant. Is that the one? Was that a sci-fi thing? I'm gonna have to-
Yes, something like that. And
Since they cloned him to help catch a killer.
Oh, right. So it was
Yeah.
the cloning thing. And that's too late. It's 2001. We were doing cloning back in 97. You were too late.
of course, Van
I-
Damme plays the serial killer, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't remember this film. I had said it was direct to DVD. Does anybody remember this? Because I don't.
I remember some of it. I remember there's a part where Van Damme does breakdancing moves on a pool table to fight. I remember that moment. And they fight each other at the end, and I don't know, a lot of kicks happen. And Michael Rooker's in it, the actor that played I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy. What was that blue guy's name again?
I don't remember. I remember Michael Rooker from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I remember him from that the movie about
Cliffhanger.
aliens.
Yeah, Cliffhanger.
Oh, Slither?
Slither,
Yeah,
that's
Slither,
what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, that was an excellent movie.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is like is this a serial killer sci-fi?
It's
Is that what this
there's action as well in there, I guess.
All right.
There's action in it. It's just a mishmash of this genre and that genre and so on.
Oh, okay. Eric, do you remember this one?
No, not very much at all. I don't
No.
really remember much of anything about it.
All right. Well, let's move on. It seems like one we shouldn't be talking about. All right. Let's talk about Shaka Kapoor, Indian director who is probably most well known for Bandit Queen. But he went on to direct Elizabeth and Elizabeth the Golden Age, which I think both films won Oscars or nominated for Oscars. Again, we have Kate Blanchett in both films. Jeffrey Rush is in both films. I really love Elizabeth. I think it's an amazing movie. Elizabeth the Golden Age, I saw once, but I didn't. I thought it was all right, but I really enjoyed the first one. He also directed a film with Heath Ledger called Four Feathers, and I don't remember that being very good. Have you guys seen Elizabeth?
I have not.
You've not seen Elizabeth?
No.
Oh, really? Have you seen it, Ray?
Haven't either.
Oh, no. Harris, please tell me you've seen it.
I saw it recently. That's all right. I saw it recently. And I enjoyed it. Yeah. It reminded me of The Godfather in a way, like a person who's brought into a role that is clearly not capable of, and then truly they rise to the challenge after all that. It reminds me of that, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and I got more details about the Golden Age one in the first film.
Right. Well, what did you think about the Golden Age?
I thought it was ridiculous.
Right.
Like, I mean, Sir Walter Raleigh swinging in on a rope or something. Like, yeah, that's not right. I mean, it's funny, but it's just both films look nice though. Like, you can clearly see why they're nominated for Oscars. That's for sure. You clearly see that. But yeah, Golden Age it's not historical. That's for sure.
No, that's what I mean. I watched the sequel, and I think that's one of those things. It was like, why are you making a sequel to this film 10 years too late, really? But Elizabeth, I think, is a fantastic film. And like I said, he directed another film with Heath Ledger, Four Feathers, which wasn't all that great. Does anybody remember this movie? Harris, you don't remember that one?
Seen it, fell asleep. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Again, Heath Ledger was okay. It's definitely not his greatest performance. From what I remember, this was trying to be like a David Lean style film, you know?
Yeah.
It was trying to be like a Lawrence of Arabia. It had that kind of feel to it, but I feel that it kind of failed in that regard. Didn't particularly care for it, but Elizabeth was great. All right. Who wants to bring up the next one? Ray, let's talk Japan.
Let's talk Japan. Let's talk about Takashi Shimizu.
Sure.
The guy behind The Grudge, both the original series in Japan and also its introduction to the US. Looking through his, I think, pretty much he came to the US with The Grudge. I liked both versions. I think, I like the Japanese version a bit more, but I think the American version was kind of catered more for American audiences. But it was just funny hearing Sarah Michelle Gellar. Was that it? Yeah, speaking Japanese. She didn't really speak good Japanese, but but I remember genuinely liking them and being generally terrified by them. I think it was during the whole J horror hype wave, around that time with The Ring came out, and then so now then after that every single Asian horror movie was getting a Hollywood adaptation.
Yeah, but the American ones, were they set in Japan?
It was set in Japan, yeah. It's about this group, this family of these foreigners who live in Japan and live in this old Japanese house there.
Well, that's the way to do it if you're going to do it. I remember the first one, but that's the thing. It's kind of like I'm more fond of the original Japanese ones, and I back in the day of J horror, and we should there was the J horror boom, and then Hollywood capitalized on it, and I didn't really care for any of the US remakes. I watched them all. The worst one is Pulse, in my opinion. But The Grudge, it's one of those things. I've got the original in my head, and then the remake's kind of wishy-washy, so I don't know. So Erik,
for the most part, it was it followed almost the exact same flow of events, just catered more towards a Western audience, I feel.
Cool. Erik, your thoughts on The Grudge and The Grudge 2 remakes?
I enjoyed the first one. I remember enjoying the first remake. Transplanted things over to the American audience fairly well. I think they kind of maintained the ominous tone of the originals in those at least a little bit, which I appreciated. And so I like the first one. The second one, I don't remember as much. The thing I remember about the second one is that Hong Kong actor Edison Chen was in that. And I remember seeing scenes from that movie that were just bad. I think The Grudge 2 is a pretty bad movie, the remake. I remember there were some scenes that came off as unintentionally hilarious. There was some really old dude on a subway or something that was acting weird, and I started laughing. But the first one, I think the first remake was pretty good.
Was the second one set in Japan as well?
I don't remember.
I think wasn't the second one where it was it was told in kind of flashbacks. You had one story set somewhere that's not Japan, possibly the States, and then kind of memories or flashbacks that happened in Japan. Because I remember there was one of the Japanese actresses was part of a J-pop group, which I really liked at the time. So I know at least that part was in Japan, and then something like Kayako had flown over to the States, followed one of the actors on the plane, and then basically immigrated to the US or something like that.
Yeah, she was in economy at the back.
Something, yeah.
I can just picture that right now. All the ghosts just following, just got up the stairs and, hiding baggage claim or some shit. I can just picture that right now.
That was either Grudge 2 or Grudge 3. I can't even remember, but I just remember that whole ending was ridiculous. All right, so she just followed whatever lead character it was, and just stowawayed in her baggage and then just flew to the US.
That reminds me of Jaws: The Revenge. Have you seen that? Where the shark actually follows the family from the Bahamas all the way to It just reminds me of that. It's so bad, man.
Unless we talk about Jaws: The Revenge, the better. I love the bit at the end where it roars like a lion.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. It jumps out of the water, it roars like a lion, and the ship, I don't know what you'd call it. Is it the bow? Which one's the stern and which one's the bow? I don't know. I don't know my ships.
You don't know the nautical terms, man.
Kill the shark, and the shark roars, and you're just like, all right. So he only did the Grudge and the Grudge 2. What are your?
He
thoughts
also
on those,
did.
Harris? Sorry, we missed Harris on those.
Yeah.
I like the Grudge one, I guess. This is basically the 5th film after the 2 straight-to-video ones, and then the two theatrical ones, and then the remake. It was fine. I mean, it's like you said, it's definitely catered for American audiences. Although the first scene did make me laugh, which is not a good sign. The part where Bill Pullman falls off the balcony and lands on his head. The suicide part that made me laugh. Like, it wasn't scary at all. Also, it didn't set a good path onwards, but it was fine. It was okay. But when Scary Movie 4 came out and that started making fun of all the Grudge stuff, yeah, I just couldn't take Grudge 2 seriously, like, at all. I just laughed throughout the whole film, especially the scene, and I think it involves Edison Chen, like in a photo lab or something, and he's looking at the photo of a Kayako or whatever, and then he just grabs his head in or something.
Yeah.
And that scene made me laugh because of that photo scandal that he did. So it's like, yeah, joke's on you. Joke's on you, bitch. Oh, man. But other than that, yeah, it's fine, but the second one sucks.
He did one more US film. Do you want to take this one?
7,500.
Yeah, with Ryan Quanton.
I thought that movie was pretty terrible, actually.
I haven't seen it because I'm pretty sure this went direct to DVD here, even if it did go to DVD.
An overnight flight makes its way over the Pacific Ocean, and the passengers encounter what appears to be a supernatural force in the cabin. That's what it's about. Yeah, so I did not like that one. A lot of cheap scares. Like, even just the opening pre-credit sequences just gets the film off on a bad start. So yeah, I do not recommend it.
That's weird. Why would they get him to direct this?
Because it's a horror movie.
Yeah,
I guess
I know. Why would he do because this is quite recent. This one's like 2014. The Grudge movies were like 2002.
Oh, it is, isn't it? 2014.
Yeah, that's really odd.
I'm sure it was delayed by a couple of years. So
maybe it was made like in 2005 or something.
It's like we just leave it on the shelf and we'll figure it out later.
All right. Well, speaking of sequels, Ray, let's talk about the US Ring 2, directed by
Hideo Nakata. And I don't remember Ring 2 all that well. I watched it because I love the first Ring, but I don't remember Ring 2.
I think there's a reason.
Is this the one with the terrible CGI deer that attack the car and they look at the
I think
kid
it
and
is.
It's like Jurassic, Park all over again, and it's fucking terrible from what I remember. I remember this movie being awful. I actually didn't mind the first Ring movie, like the first US Ring. I thought, was it Gore Verbinski or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job. And then they thought, okay, we'll get the original writer-director to come over and do his thing, and it didn't work at all, in my opinion. I remember this movie being just a pile of crap. Absolutely awful. Yeah, all I remember is really bad CGI deer. And I'm sure you can find that scene on YouTube. I guarantee you that's one of those scenes where people put on as like funny clips. So this had Naomi Watts again and Simon Baker. Okay.
Simon Baker. I hear he's a good director though, with his latest movie, but yeah, good for him. I think he's doing like a Ben Affleck type of thing. His acting sucks, but his directing's good.
Yeah. So what do you think of this one, Harris? The Ring 2. Do you remember it?
I remember the very ending where they climb out of the well and there's a bit of a fight, and the ending line is, "I'm not your fucking mummy," and she kicks it down the well. You know, sending our love down the well, all that shit.
Down that well.
He's like, oh. And funny enough, at the end of Orphan, there's the same line, "I'm not your fucking mummy," and then kicks it down again. And I'm like, what the fuck is this, like a new trend or some shit? like badass motherfucking mummies or some shit. But yeah, the CGI was terrible, and Sissy Spacek was in it. You know, the actress in Carrie. I'm like, okay. Because I remember looking forward to this. It's like, oh, the same director that made the first movie or whatever, you know, and then they're just crap. Like out of focus shots and just garbage.
Yeah. Eric, thoughts on The Ring 2?
I remember seeing this one in the theater and expecting it to be pretty good, and it would just I don't think I hated it as much as Corey did, but it's definitely just not really worth watching. I think if I remember correctly, they tried to focus even more on the little kid in this one, and it didn't really work all that well. I think his acting was kind of exposed a little bit more in this one, and yeah, the ending was just not very good. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this one.
I actually I don't know if this is controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think Hideo Nakata is a very good director. I think he's a two-trick pony.
Yeah, I think he lost it. Yeah, he totally lost it.
Dark Water, great. The original Ring film, great. Look at his filmography.
Chaos was a solid thriller.
Yeah, Chaos was good.
They're all like thrillers or horror movies, though. Like Kaiden from 2007 was pretty good.
Yeah. Death Note changed the world. Chat Room, The Complex, Monsters. Come on, they're all shit.
The Complex and what was the other one?
Monsters.
Monsters, which was the remake of the South Korean film.
There's one called Ghost Theater. Is that it? Ghost Theater?
Ghost Theater, yeah. I haven't seen that.
That's garbage.
That was shit too, yeah.
That's like
there's one here called Words with Gods, a Mexican-American anthology. Never heard of it. 9 directors, so I'm guessing they've all done like a 10-minute short or something. Oh, that doesn't count as
like an ABCs of Death kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ray, your thoughts on this one?
The Ring 2?
Oh, did we go? I went to you, didn't I?
Yeah, I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I watched it, but it was like one of those like, well, kind of like those kind of reactions. Well, yeah.
It's like you're too scared to revisit because it's that bad.
Yeah.
Eric, you had a couple of other guys you wanted to talk about. There's one big one that I want to talk about, but I want to leave him to the end. So I think, in my opinion, he's the most successful Asian director.
There's another Japanese horror director that came over, Masayuki Ochiai. He directed Infection and The Hypnotist. From if anybody hasn't seen The Hypnotist, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And he did the American remake of the Thai horror film Shudder. He directed that one. They got a Japanese director to come in and do an American remake of a Thai horror film.
You know why? Because they thought that was a Japanese horror film. I guarantee you,
I wouldn't be surprised.
The producer that saw that film or heard of it, they were like,
all Asians are indistinguishable. I mean, that's what we think.
Well, that Shudder did come out around the same time as all those J horror films, and I guarantee you, one of them just assumed, oh, it's probably Japanese. We'll get a Japanese guy, because that worked so well with The Ring too.
Yeah, but Shudder, the remake, was pretty terrible. It just everything about it's just pretty lame.
But it had a guy from Dawson's Creek in it.
What?
I remember the scares in this one were they all kind of fall flat on their face. So yeah, I don't recommend it. If you haven't seen it, just watch the original.
So what was The Hypnotist? Who's in that?
It's pretty cool. It's got I don't remember any big name actors in that one. It's about a serial killing hypnotist. This was made a few years after Cure, but it's a totally different movie. Like you want red herrings in a freaking movie, you got them in that one. And then they use a cliche. I'm not going to tell you what it is. They use a cliche, and I really like the way that they use the cliche later in the film. So I like the Hypnotist.
What year is it from? Because it's bringing up a Swedish film when I Google it.
I think 1999.
I remember that movie. I remember the opening scene where you see like
Yeah.
3 groups of people suffer. I don't want to spoil it, but it's so bonkers. Like one involving an athlete. That's the other one I say anymore. The athlete part. That's the part that just went. Ugh.
All right, I'm gonna track that one down.
Yeah, I haven't
The
seen
opening
this. I haven't
scene
seen
was
this one, but
And who was the other guy that you mentioned? The guy that did Midnight Meat Train?
Oh yeah, my boy Ryohei Kitamura. I was a huge fan of this
because
guy.
he did Versus and
Azumi.
and all that stuff.
Azumi.
Yeah.
Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great
So
director. But he also
I
did
was
Lupin the Third. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a balance, I guess.
he's allowed to make a terrible movie every now and again.
he came over in 2008 to do Midnight Meat Train, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end for him, I think, just because even though I think Midnight Meat Train was actually kind of entertaining, it's about a photographer who investigates a suspicious butcher who may be connected to a series of disappearing persons. And Vinnie Jones is in that one, so we all know we want anything with Vinnie Jones.
And Bradley Cooper before he was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
No,
I like
I like that movie because I like Clive Barker's stuff, and I think it's pretty decent. It's a decent, B grade horror movie.
Yeah. I think it gets stronger near the end, which is good for a movie like that.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones, perfectly cast actually, because he doesn't have any dialogue from what I remember.
Except near the end where he says like "welcome" or some shit.
Yeah. I just remember Ted Raimi getting killed brutally, and like you've got his CGI eye falling down or something. I can't remember, but Ted Raimi's in it, and Brooke Shields. When was the last time you saw Brooke Shields in a movie?
Rampage Jackson is in it as well.
Oh, really?
He plays the guy. He plays the guy that Vinnie Jones fights in the train a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to watch this again.
You got like half the A team in there apparently.
Ray, have you seen Midnight Meat Train?
I haven't actually. I didn't even know about the existence of this movie.
It's not too bad, man. You should check it out.
Based on a Clive Barker short story, it says.
It's not. It's pretty like for Clive Barker standards. It's not that weird. It's not like Nightbreed or any of those things. Yeah. All right. We've been building up to this guy. All I'm going to say is Taiwan #1. And that's if you know that reference. Ang Lee, arguably, this is my opinion. I don't know about the other guys, but in my opinion, Ang Lee is the most successful Asian director that has, gone to Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's won something like 4 Oscars, his films, something ridiculous, or he's been maybe more than that. He's won Best Director twice. The guy, a lot of people don't know he's Taiwanese, which is, well, a lot of people don't even know where Taiwan is. So what do I know? But he started with, I think the first one was Sense and Sensibility. I really like that film. I'm a literature guy, so I'm gonna like that. And Emma Thompson did a really great job writing the screenplay. The Ice Storm is probably his most underrated Hollywood film, in my opinion. I think Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver are fantastic in that film. Ride with the Devil, I don't remember. I think that's a Western with Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah, and Jewel, of all people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the singer.
But I really want to start with the one that kind of made him a global phenomenon, and we'll talk about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And let's start with Erik.
I never saw this one in the theater. I kind of got on this train after the fact, but I really enjoyed it. I think it Chow Yun-fat was still in his, I guess, post-prime, and the action was really good in this too, which is kind of surprising to me because I wasn't really that familiar with this director at all before I saw that movie. I hadn't seen any of his other films before that. So that was kind of my introduction to him, and it was definitely a good introduction. Very solid storyline, solid acting. I like the environments, and yeah. So this one it's really kind of a must-see, I would say, if you're looking for a lot of the films that we've discussed tonight. It's one of the ones that definitely probably most people have seen, but it's definitely one of the ones that you kind of have to see just to have an opinion on it. And it's one of the few films that really earned a lot at the box office, you know what I mean, regarding this type of thing. So yeah, I liked it.
Cool. Right?
Loved it. I watched it in the theater. It was my introduction to Ang Lee as well. And I think introduction to a lot of the actors in the movie, like especially Chow Yun-fat. Like this was the first movie I saw Chow Yun-fat in, and then I watched his Hong Kong films like sometime after introduction to Zhang Zi. But I've seen Michelle Yeoh in one of the Bond films.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, was that before? I can't remember if that was before or after, but
it was before.
Was it before? Okay, because she was the only familiar face for me, I think. But I remember liking it. I think this was the movie that made what they call it, like wire food, really popular as far as
wire work,
wire work, wuxia films. Like I think this was the film that kind of made it big. At least this is the first one I remember seeing, and I thought it was amazing. I haven't seen the sequel.
Don't bother, man.
Yeah, I refuse to watch it just because how much I love the first movie. So yeah, to the say I haven't never seen the sequel. Yeah, but yeah, loved it.
Cool, Harris.
I really enjoy Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think it works as a romance. I think it works as an action film. I think it works as a drama. It works on many levels. And I remember some people comparing Zhang Zi's character to being like a Luke Skywalker or something, and I actually kind of agree with that. And yeah, it's great. I mean, the fight scenes, clearly they're not brutal like the early days. Like clearly it's meant to be more like a dance instead of like, say, maybe back in Iron Monkey or something. But yeah, it works really well. And Chow Yun-fat, who clearly I read described himself as not a martial artist, like he says he's rubbish at it. He did really well in it as well. And Michelle Yeoh, I mean, how can I say no to her?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, ever since Yes Madam, it's just
yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It won. I think it was best foreign film at that year's Oscars, and it was deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
I think when it was released here in Australia and probably the US, there was an English dub released in the cinema. I didn't see this film in the cinema actually. I remember buying it on DVD, the Fat Pack DVD. Remember those? Well, they came in the Fat Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my first DVDs. I think my very first DVD was Gladiator, and then Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was probably number 2 or 3. But yeah, a film I watched a hell of a lot when I was younger. I haven't watched it in a while. But after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, we got Hulk with Eric Bana. I remember seeing this in the cinema. I was excited for it because it was Ang Lee. Eric Bana was coming from. He had Chopper in the bank at that point.
I just remember Full Frontal. That's all I know.
Yeah, I know. It's hard for us. Like, I don't know. You guys don't know this because you guys are American, but when we were growing up, like Harris and I watched Eric Bana on a skit television show where he would play characters. One of his characters was Glenn Ridge, who was a real person who hosted Sale of the Century. Like this is what we know him as. We don't know him as Eric Bana the actor.
Yeah.
We know him as Eric Bana the silly guy on TV.
Yeah, I know him as
dumb
Poiter
characters.
or
Yeah, Poiter, who was like a
Yeah.
bogan. Yeah, it was odd. But he made Chopper, and then everyone went, holy shit, this guy's amazing. But Hulk was very disappointing. I can see what Ang Lee was trying to do, because it was very much a comic book movie in the sense that it had the panels going on and all that stuff. It was just overly long. It had a bad villain in Nick Nolte. The CGI for the time, it was okay for the time, but the Hulk just looked a bit odd. The zombie dogs were stupid. Like, and it did have Jennifer Connelly in it though, so I don't know. Thoughts on Hulk, Eric?
I haven't seen this one in ages. I remember it being kind of lame, I guess would be the word to describe it for me. I remember when Hulk was jumping, like even just something like the way they had him jump. I was like, man, like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd. The whole film, it had certain pieces that probably could have worked, but it just didn't. Yeah, I agree on Nick Nolte. That was not well written. Overall, I think the script did not help this movie much either. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I actually think the Edward Norton Hulk film is a lot better. And even, I don't know. My opinion on comic book movies isn't particularly the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think they're all very. You're just seeing the same film again and again and again, and they've got their formula and they stick with it. And if you don't stick to the formula, then you're very naughty. You go in the corner. Ray, your thoughts on Hulk?
The Hulk, I think when I watched it in the theater, and I think at the time, upon first viewing, I liked it, or rather because I love comic book movies, and I liked it. But that was, I think, after rewatching again, I realized I liked it because it was just kind of like one of those things you watch it, you can't admit that it's a bad movie, so you just say, I liked it, but then you watch again, it's like, yeah, I can't find enough reasons to like it.
It's called Phantom Menacing. That's what it is.
Yeah. Perfect. That's a perfect way of putting it. Because Phantom Menace was one of those movies where, like, I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's great. But then, everyone say, no, it's bad. Like, no, it's good. It's good. And then watch again, it's like, okay, guys, sorry, I lied. Yeah. It's bad. That's what Hulk was, and like, yeah, that's like how Hulk was. Because I wanted to see the Hulk come to life instead of like being all Lou Ferrigno'd out. I wanted to see a super big Hulk, but then I see what Ang Lee was trying to do, but I felt like it was just weird as a comic book movie, because for a comic book movie you expect it to go one way, but it went this way. And yeah, CG definitely wasn't up to par, and it had Hulk dogs, which I thought I was still bothered with to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with the Hulk, even with the current, is it Mark Ruffalo plays Bruce Banner? All nowadays, terrible casting. All terrible. Every single one, terrible. Eric Banner, terrible. Edward Norton, terrible. Like, Bruce Banner is not meant to look like, he's meant to be this like really skinny, weedy, nerdy guy who's just bullied on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Ruffalo, no. Doesn't work.
So are we saying that Bill Bixby is still the best casting choice from back in the day?
Yes, we are.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just keeping my mouth shut on that
one. All right, Harris, your thoughts on Hulk?
It's a mixed bag for me, but there's some parts I like about it. Like, Jennifer Connelly's great in it. Like, there's no doubt. And what's Sam Elliott? Sam Elliott, right. Kim confused that. Yeah, he's good as Ross, and I want him to come back actually instead of.
Yeah, he did a better job than William Hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some parts I like. There's the part where Bruce and his father are sitting on a chair, like in the middle of like a bunker or some shit, and it looks like this part of a stage play. It's just one big light, and they're just talking to each other while people are watching from far away, and it's like, why does this remind me of a stage play? It's like it's like a play now, and then the way they confront each other, I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, the dogs were crappy, and I like to call the movie Angry Shrek for some reason because, and yeah, the jumping. I mean, the Hulk looks so light when he jumps. Like it's supposed, there's no mass to it. It's like the difference between Pacific Rim 1 and Pacific Rim 2. You know, Pacific Rim 1 is like the robots are full heavy, like they put a lot of mass into it. But in Pacific Rim 2, they jump and do flips and shit and kicks. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? It's like the mass makes a big difference. But other than that, Hulk, yeah, they're trying to aim for a psychological thing, like I don't want to say Cronenberg, but something like that. But it doesn't really pay off. Yeah.
All right, the next film is Gay Cowboys Eating... Brokeback Mountain. Brokeback Mountain, I think Heath Ledger's performance is incredible. I actually like Jake Gyllenhaal in this film. I don't know. I think this film was overhyped, to be honest. I watched it when it first came out. I was like, yeah, sure, I get it, but it's not something I would ever watch again. Was this the same year that it was Crash, and Crash won Best Picture?
Yeah.
And they all thought it was going to be this one.
Crash sucks. I'm sorry, but Crash sucks.
Is this the one? Was this? I think this is the one where. Is this his first Best Directing Oscar? Ang Lee, did you win Best Director for this?
Probably.
I got the feeling he did. Yes, Best Director, Best Picture. I think I could be. No, he won Best Director. Or am I wrong?
It won Best Director. Yeah.
An Oscar?
Let's see. It said it won 3 Academy Awards: Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best
First
Original
non-white
Score.
person to win Best Director. There you go. And he won again, as we know, for Life of Pi. Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I do get it. I get this film, and I get why people like it. It's another what's the other one? A lot of these Oscar films, and this does seem like an Oscar bait type film. They just kind of, I watched them once, and then I'm like, I'll get on with my life. What was the one with Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto? Dallas Buyers Club. That was the other one I watched. I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. And then, but I'm like that. I was the same with Slumdog Millionaire. I watched it. I'm never watching that again. But this is
a lot of the Oscar movies like that. A lot of them like that.
Most of them are. It was the same with Shape of the Water. I went, it was all right.
They're just not.
That's just me.
Not a lot of replay value to it, you know.
Yeah, I actually sorry. If you go back to like maybe the mid-90s, or maybe I think the last one for me is probably Gladiator. But the last Return of the King is probably the last Oscar winning Best Picture film that I've watched repeatedly. And if you look at anything before that, I don't know, there's something about anything in the last 10 to 15 years just doesn't, it's just all Anyway, sorry, Eric, I cut you off.
I was going to say, I actually, over the past 5 years, I've been on a project just to try to hit every Best Picture winner. And I've gotten back to 1971. And there was there was a big patch of films starting from the early 2000s that I just did not like. But overall, it's kind of a third, a third, a third, for the Best Picture winners. I think a third of them are really good. A third of them are just kind of pretty good. And a third of them I actually don't even like. So that's how my distribution is. But I think if I look at my list, I think the 70s, I think, was the solid period where you had The French Connection, The Godfather, The Sting, The Godfather Part 2, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Rocky, Annie Hall I didn't like, but and then you got Deer Hunter. So that's a pretty solid decade.
Let's not go to Driving Miss Daisy. Let's not go to there.
So anyway, Eric, what did you think of Brokeback Mountain?
I never saw this movie.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Subject matter didn't interest you?
Possibly. I think at that point, I've never really been a fan of Jake Gyllenhaal ever. Ever since I saw Donnie Darko, I remember going into Blockbuster Video and like the video guy's like, "You got to watch Donnie Darko." I'm like,
I
"All
had
right."
that exact same thing.
And I watched it. I'm like,
not a fan
no.
of Donnie Darko. Yeah.
So I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal that kind of put me off.
Yeah. All right, Ray, Brokeback Mountain.
I watched it, and I think I agree with you, Corey. Like, this movie is just like a one-off. Like, I watched it, was entertained by it, but it wasn't a movie I would like go back to watch, like, go out of my way to watch again. But I think what is it? Definitely like Heath Ledger. Yeah, I'm with you, Eric. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, he's kind of on and off for me. I like him in some movies, but don't like him in a whole lot more. I remember Anne Hathaway's boobs in this movie. Yeah.
I just remember Heath Ledger spitting on his hand. That's one of those scenes that just like, fuck. That's why I didn't want to talk about Brokeback Mountain. Harris, your thoughts on Brokeback Mountain?
Oh, sorry, I'm just focusing on the spit. Okay, I did like the movie. I haven't seen it since first watched it, that's for sure. And Heath Ledger is great at it. I mean, understated, as he is. And I think the fondest memory I said about this movie was that I kept telling people like, these aren't cowboys, these are shepherds. Like, these are shepherds, they're not cowboys. Like, why are people calling this a gay cowboy movie? These are technically shepherds. And it's like,
because they're wearing the cowboy hat and they talk in the voice. Maybe, I don't know.
But these are shepherds, man. And I forgot that Anne Hathaway was in it, and yeah, of course, Michelle Williams was in it as well. Yeah, the movie was fine, but hey, it was better than Crash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Crash is one of those ones. It's like, what the hell were they thinking? So Ang Lee, just after that, he made Lust Caution. We can't talk about that one because it's not a Hollywood film. It's a fucking amazing film, but it's a Hollywood film. And then we have Life of Pi. I've read the book, and I've got to say this was a pretty decent adaptation of the book. And this came out at the time when 3D was going to be the next big thing. Not long after Avatar, and the 3D effects and the special effects in this film for the time were really good, particularly the tiger. They did the thing where they, pretty much all the cast is Indian actors. I like the movie. I have a soft spot for it. Is it a best picture thing? Again, yeah, it's pretty good. I've watched it a couple of times, but it's only because of stuff I've had to do with work-related stuff where I've shown where I've read the book with students and we've watched the film. It's a great visual film, but again, you really do need to watch it in 3D to appreciate it.
What did it win against?
I don't know, but it won quite a few. He won Best Director. Didn't it win Best Picture? Your cat likes the movie.
Oh, she's here.
I agree with the Best Adapted Screenplay, just because I think it's a very good adaptation of the book. But, it's a movie I think everyone should watch at least once. I would say that. Ray, your thoughts on Life of Pi?
I liked it a lot. Like, I didn't read the book, but I also didn't watch it in 3D. And I was told by every friend who has watched in 3D that I was missing out on half the experience.
Yeah.
Because when it came out, I can't remember because I was living in Japan by that time, and I don't remember it probably did come to the theaters here, but watching at theaters in Japan is like it's way more expensive than I'm used to paying for in the States. So that's probably a reason. Like if it did come, that I just opted not to watch it in the cinema and just waited for a home release. But I mean, despite not watching it in 3D, I loved it. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Cool. Eric?
It's another one that I have not seen.
Oh, really? You should watch it. It's one of those things. It's like what Ray was saying. You can recommend people. You say, "Hey, watch this movie," but you really need to be in the theater with the big screen and the surround sound and the 3D glasses. You can't really capture that same experience at home unless you're a multimillionaire with that setup.
It's like movies like Gravity and Avatar. You have to be in the cinema to watch it.
Exactly. So, Harris, your thoughts on this one?
I enjoyed it for the most part, but I don't remember much about it. But I remember where the film lost me, basically when he gets saved or something, or he recounts the story, and you don't know whether it actually happened or not. Like the two viewpoints of like whether it was the animals with him or whether it was people or something. Yeah, that kind of lost me or threw me off. But I remember enjoying it. Like I watched it at home. I didn't watch it in the cinema, unfortunately. But yeah, it was fine, and I still remember some of the visuals in it. So they actually are very good.
All right, the next one I have not seen. Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk.
Oh, that I have seen. Yeah.
I saw the trailer for this, and I kind of did that thing where I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" The trailer, I don't know what it was selling me. It was another Forrest Gump. Like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah. Well, Harris, what do you think of this one?
This wasn't that good, I'm afraid. No, I mean, Garrett Hedlund was good. I'll give it that. And I don't know why Chris Tucker was in this movie, but like he's restrained. Like for him, he doesn't overact. Like he doesn't.
What was he playing in the film?
He plays. I believe he plays the agent of the main character, like guiding him through the shows and. Because
so what's the actual story about?
The story is about Billy Lynn, and he's basically doing like a football halftime show where all the soldiers come back from the war, and they recount, and then you see flashbacks of his story via Vin Diesel, and it's fine. It's the way they filmed it, like they used like a full-on super high definition camera or something. Where
was it the same camera they use for the Hobbit films, like 60?
Yeah, exactly.
Frames per second, all that shit.
Yeah, and apparently, like you have to shave all the time. The actors have to shave all the time, otherwise you can tell the difference.
They used a 120 frame per second 3D 4K HD camera.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would look really strange. Was that? Did you? Can cinemas even project at that high of a frame rate?
Few of them.
Right. Did you see it in that frame rate, or was it?
Hell no! Hell no! I watched it at home.
All right.
Good old 23 frames per second, man.
Yeah.
But I heard that like the camera was so like advanced that actors would have to shave before they had to be on camera because they can tell like the makeup was so obvious or the hairs on their face was so obvious. Yeah, but as a film,
wouldn't that just make the filmmaking process 10 times as long and more? Yeah,
exactly. Like for a movie like this, I just don't see the visual point of it. Like, why is this like? Why are they utilizing this technology on such a story like this?
You do that with an action film or something, surely.
Yeah, like
you need to capture action.
Like the acting, the acting's fine. Like Steve Martin's in it, but he's dead inside ever since Chill by the Dozen. Like he can't act anymore. It's like his face can no longer move. Basically,
have you seen that? There's that interview with him from, is it an English comedian? and it's on the red carpet for something, and he goes up to Steve Martin and he says, "Hello, Mr. Martin." He's like, "Yes," and he's like, "I have one question for you. Why aren't you funny anymore?" And Steve Martin.
Oh.
But the guy's trolling. That's the point of it. He's like, and I'm pretty sure he's like a comedian, and that's his character. It's like a Sacha Baron Cohen style thing where he's playing a character but Steve Martin had no idea. He thought,
wow, that's pretty mean, man, to say that, Ronnie.
It's pretty mean. Has anybody else seen this film? Eric?
Nope.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Yeah.
I understand
Harry's the only one
completely.
who's seen it.
No, I understand
Yeah.
completely.
Wow.
It wasn't a big thing.
Yeah, the high frame rate thing I don't understand. I remember I watched the first Hobbit film in 48 frames per second in 3D, and it was, my brain just went, this is not good. This doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right.
It looks fake, doesn't it?
It doesn't look right.
Like,
you can actually see like it. You could see the fake plastic ears and stuff on like the Hobbit, the actors playing hobbits, and it makes it look worse, in my opinion.
yeah, it doesn't look like they're on location within the story. It looks like they're just on set, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're just running on set and just, you don't feel, it's not immersive. Basically, it's not immersive.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that is not going to be commonplace in other films. All right, so that's the last movie. Let's talk. I'll just open up the chat and we can, how do I, just give me a second. Pop out chat, that's what I want. All right. So we have the chat here. People in chat who are watching, this is your time to ask questions. So you can ask them now. Looks like they've all been chatting in the chat. I had to block one dickhead.
Oh, really?
Oh, you know.
Was he giving Infinity War spoilers? Was that?
No. People are asking me, am I going to review Infinity War? And I'm like, are you?
I can spoil it right now if you want me to.
No, please don't. I haven't watched, I don't care about comic book movies. I've made that quite clear. My channel is about Asian cinema, unless, you know, it turns out it was a Korean film or something. All right, Mitch, did you know that piercing is getting adapted into a film? It already has been made, as far as I'm aware. It will be screened at the Sydney Film Festival this year. Yeah, I think that's a weird one to adapt. Particularly, it needs to be a Japanese film. That's what I'm going to say. I like the book. It's okay. It's not as good as In the Miso Soup. That's a movie that needs to be made. But, man, I don't know. I really don't know about an American piercing film. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to get offended by it. I just like to see the same people that got offended about other things get offended about that, which they won't because they don't care, really. All right, next question. Favorite Korean films? That's too broad of a question. Sorry. What pieces of work, podcast, movie, question mark. I don't know what that means. Is The Great Hypnotist 2014 the one you guys were recommending? No, Joshua, it was a what did you say? It was a 1999 Japanese film?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have a different name in Japan.
In Japanese, it's called Saimin.
Saimin. Okay. Korean revenge movies then. Okay. I Saw the Devil, obviously. Old Boy. Another Korean revenge film. I mean, I guess you got the Vengeance trilogy. You could just throw all those together. Guys, any others you can think of?
I like Princess Aurora. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's an underrated one.
Mm.
Where she leaves the stickers as a calling card.
Yeah.
Eric, any Korean revenge films you can recommend?
Revenge.
Yeah, revenge. Is
One that kind of comes to mind that I thought was kind of neat was Wide Awake, also known as The Return. That's the one where it has like a medical. It's got like a medical type thing to it. I kind of thought that one was pretty interesting. I don't know if it's my favorite though. It's just one that came to mind.
Yeah, it's okay. I think that one. Favorite Chinese action shoot 'em up from the 90s. Oh, there's so many to choose from.
Hard Boiled for me.
Oh, yeah, Hard Boiled. That was the one. Yeah, I think that's unanimous. Hard Boiled. Hard Boiled is great.
Well, we got to name more than that.
Well, what else? What else can you throw out there?
The
Killer. Was that 80s?
I think it's 89. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot 'em up. I can't remember. Like fighting movies, I remember heaps of them. I just can't remember the shoot 'em up ones.
Yeah, pretty much you've really got to go with the John Woo stuff of the 90s, I guess.
Oh, I think did Johnny Toe come out with any movies in the 90s? There was come
outside of Hard Boiled. All right.
Let's see here. We got
what have we got?
Just can't remember shoot 'em up ones though. There's The Mission.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I thought he came out with one. Oh, I missed a year. Hold on. I'm going through my Excel file. All right, we got The Longest Night from 1998, if that counts.
That's brutal. That's really brutal. I remember that.
I just need to go to the bathroom. I'm going to let you guys take over for 5 minutes.
She Shoots Straight from 1990 was a good one. It's kind of a martial arts and.
That's the song. That's almost Sammo Hung's wife, right?
Yeah.
I watched that recently. Actually, that's fun. Well, although the melodramatic middle was just hilarious.
Yeah, the dinner table scene was a little.
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking there, man.
A Hero Never Dies is another Johnny Toe film that I would recommend.
Yeah, I like that. Although it gets weird at the end. I don't want to spoil it, but he's in a wheelchair. That's all I want to say. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah. What other ones do I got? I got Big Bullet from 1996. For some reason, I don't remember that one very much, but that was fun.
That's a Benny Chan movie. I remember liking that too. I don't remember much either. I would like to watch it again though.
Oh, The Adventurers with Andy Lau from 95. Not the recent one, the older one was good. Those are the ones that I have listed here.
What is Full Contact, the Chow Fat one, where he plays the scumbag, and Song Yan plays the flamboyant, possibly gay antagonist. And has like that awesome end line, where, you know, there's one liner where you kill someone. He says, "When you masturbate in hell." That's the line. And that made me laugh so hard, man.
There was another one that I thought was pretty good, Beyond Hypothermia with Lau Ching-wan.
Oh, the girl from A Moment of Romance plays the assassin, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It was so weird because not just that movie, there are other movies where you just don't picture actresses playing assassins, like those particular actresses, like the movie On the Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't picture Patricia Ha or Pat Ha as an assassin, but she's so good at it.
Wasn't Yun Bao in that movie too?
Who? Sorry?
Wasn't Yun Bao in that movie?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That was a cool flick. Yeah, there's definitely some good ones.
Yeah, it all coming back to me now.
Going old school.
I love those old school Hong Kong movies, man. They're the best.
All right, how did you guys go? All right.
We didn't say much. No, just kidding.
We rattled off a bunch of action flicks from the 90s.
Oh, sick. Can you suggest some Korean sci-fi movies? I actually did like a top 5 Korean sci-fi video ages ago. Can't remember. I think I had, what did I have in there?
There must have been the recent one with Dongwon Gang with the egg. What is it called? Vanished? Was that on the list?
Yeah.
Vanishing Time?
This list was ages ago.
Oh.
Natural City or something?
2 years ago. Yeah, Natural City was on there.
Uh-huh.
Vanishing Time. That's the most recent. That was a really good movie. I liked that.
I remember liking 2001 Lost Memories a little bit.
Yeah. Just go back, just Google top 5 Korean sci-fi films. It's a video I made like 2 years ago. I think I might have put The Host in there. I can't remember. I think it does count.
I think Host counts, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
What have we got?
Wasn't there
Iron
one?
Angel is an excellent shooter. Yeah, I can't really remember. I watched so many movies.
It just becomes a blur, man.
I know, it really does. But yeah, Korean sci-fi, I'm pretty sure The Host will come up. Maybe Sector 7. That's more of a monster film.
I didn't like Sector 7. It's just generic. Yeah. Like Haji One's in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the reason I like it.
That makes perfect sense.
Korean sci-fi.
I saw one that was a really low budget one. I think, let me make sure it was a Korean one here. I think it was called Young Gun in the Time from 2012. It's like a time travel thriller that was made on like a really low budget, but it was actually pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, they saved the Green Planet. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But if you say that's a sci-fi film, it kind of spoils the movie a little bit.
It's in the title.
I know. So we've got here, it says The Host, Natural City, Save the Green Planet, Snowpiercer, Doomsday Book, Sector 7, Okja, Yongari, Lucid Dream,
Yongari.
yeah. Dragon Wars.
Haunters.
Haunters. I think I put Haunters in there.
That was solid.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
The movie that became monsters.
That's pretty close to it's more of a comic book film. Put it this way, Haunters is a much better film than Psychokinesis, which is a film I watched today.
I saw
that too.
I know Ray liked it. I saw Ray.
I like Psychokinesis. I liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, me too.
Spoiler alert for my review that's coming on Tuesday. Psychokinesis. I'm going to just say the director's a one-trick pony at the moment when it comes to his live-action films. It's better than his last film, Soul Station, which is arguably one of the worst animated films I've ever seen in my life.
And Psychokinesis has the man in it, our boy.
No, it has the man. It has the man. And he is terrible in the film. Sorry, Ray. I'm like... I know you like comic books, but have you seen it yet, Eric? Have you watched it, Eric?
Yeah. It was brutal.
Did you think it was shit as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Harris, have you watched it yet?
I haven't seen it. I'm probably going to side with Ray on this one after I see it, maybe. Not so sure.
That's all right. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to talking. I think that I've got that for my Tuesday review, so I'm looking forward to talking about how much I disliked that movie.
Hey, I'm a guy that liked Lucy, so what my taste is just
that movie made like $500 million at the box office, so you're not the only one that liked it. Did you just like it because of Scarlett Johansson, or did you like the story?
I just like the complete lunacy of it all. How crazy!
Didn't she turn into like a thumbnail, like a fucking flash drive or something, isn't that? I haven't seen the movie.
She's everywhere.
People have told me about it.
That's the text it sends at the end. I am everywhere. She's everywhere.
So it's anyway.
She turns into the operating system from Her.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right. Do you guys think Afro Samurai would be a good choice for a Hollywood movie adaptation?
I think they planned that a while back, actually. With Sam Jackson playing Afro Samurai.
Yeah, the character he voices. Yeah.
Or Andre 3000 or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, Samuel L. Jackson's too old.
Mm.
He's almost 70, I think. He still looks great, but I don't believe him as that character. I don't know. Like, just any kind of cartoon adaptation, they usually don't work.
I like Speed Racer. So.
Oh,
you like
Speed Racer? Speed Racer. Oh,
this
man.
is like a confession video. Everybody's just
everybody's like admitting.
Hey, it's not a confession to me. It could be like an interrogation afterwards.
Why do you like Speed Racer?
I don't know. It just reminded me when I was a kid. That's all.
Here comes Speed Racer.
I mean, it's like it's just balls your eyes out, man.
The Wachowskis. All right, what have we got? Oh, hang on. People are saying things. Yeah.
What are they saying? I love Speed Racer as well.
No. Speed Racer is good. Yeah, some people are liking it.
I knew it. See, I knew there's some fans out there, man.
A touch of film. Huss is watching. He said Snowpiercer is a sci-fi, but is it really a Korean movie? I think technically it is.
I think technically it is too. I just think it just has a majority like Western cast.
Like, and the source material is kind of
it's a French novel. It's a French graphic novel. So, I think it's like Snowpiercer is okay. It's decent.
Made a shitload of money in Korea as well.
Hey,
made a shitload of money in Korea as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, it's Bong Joon-ho. Okay, what do you think about Anurag Kashyap making a Hollywood film? Is that actually happening? Because I think he could do it, but I don't think I'd want him to.
Who? Sorry?
Anurag Kashyap, the Indian director who directed Gangs of Wasseypur.
Ah, right.
I think he would do a pretty good. It depends on what though. Because from what I understand, he, if you look at his filmography, the things that he's done, he's had quite a lot of control. He's very non-Bollywood. I'm pretty sure he dislikes Bollywood quite a lot, so he just does his own thing.
His films are brutal. Yeah.
I think it could work. I don't know. Is he actually doing it, or is this just a hypothetical? It's hypothetical. I think he could. It just depends on what they offer him. But then again, look at everyone else we've spoken about tonight.
Yeah.
The only one who's come out of this looking good really is Ang Lee. All right. Oh, sorry. Mina Kim has written something in Korean, and I can't read Korean. Somebody wants to translate.
Google Translate it is.
Yes, thank you, Ray.
Google Translate.
It's been a long
Ashok
time.
asks, hey Corey, don't you think it's wrong for Bollywood to represent Indian cinema since regional language movies of India does a better job when it comes to content? Yes, I agree. And the regional films are generally the ones that get more recognition internationally. Who's a Western director you'd like to see make a movie in Asia? Doing the flip around.
There was that guy that made Die Hard 2 that made Skip Trace.
Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
And he's still making Chinese movies. He's got another one coming out.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
He's
Can I
shilling
choose
for-
any? Can I choose any Caucasian director? Or does he have to be from Hollywood?
Yeah, choose whoever.
I want to see Gareth Evans do like a Japanese Yakuza flick, action flick,
Sick. I'd be down for that.
with Reina Takada as one of the actresses in it.
Nice.
Arena
Oh.
Takada.
One of his short films is a samurai film that I've seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, yes, he could do that. Yeah.
He could do that. He could pull it off. What else? I don't know. Who I'd like to see over there.
I want to see James Wan revive the Japanese horror genre.
I'd like to see James Wan make an Australian movie.
Yeah. Contribute to the Australization.
I can't say I blame him though, or Lee Winnell for like going fuck Australia, considering they tried to get their movies made here and no one was interested, so they went to the States and then
Reboot Razorback.
Hey, that could be done. Isn't there a movie coming out that is like that called Boar or something?
Yeah, they had a secret screening over at Al in Sydney. Like I didn't know what the movie was until people actually went into the cinema and watched it.
All right. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Did you know
it wasn't worth it.
What was the feedback? It was terrible,
or? Feedback was all right from what I remember.
Yeah. Western direct. I'm still stuck on the Western director in Asia thing. I don't know because I don't really watch that many Western films. It depends.
What about Craig?
I've got
Craig
one.
Zahler.
I've got one. No, he would do all right. I've got one. I'd actually like to. Can we turn back time? Can we go back? Can we take Paul Schrader when Paul Schrader was good, and get Paul Schrader to? I know he did. He like co-wrote the Yakuza, or he's done stuff with Japan quite a bit. But I'd just like to see him in Japan at his best, like late 70s, early 80s, or William Friedkin, somebody like that, like one of those like 70s dudes making a kick-ass. Actually, William Friedkin now. Let's get him to do it. Make something.
Yeah, I love Killer Joe. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Killer Joe was great. I love William Friedkin. You should people Google interview. There's a great interview where he's talking with
I've seen this.
You know the one, the director of Drive, and
yeah,
and he's telling him he's like got his head up. He's just a cranky old man. It's amazing. So good.
He's like, only God forgives as a masterpiece. Like, no, it isn't.
No, he's not. He's like, it's not even a pimple on the asshole of the world or something. So funny. What have we got? Next one. Thoughts on Donnie Yen playing Commander Tung in live action Mulan movie? I don't like Donnie Yen. I've made that clear many times. I'm not a fan of Donnie Yen at all.
Donnie Yen.
I appreciate him as a martial arts expert and a choreographer, but I don't like him as an actor or a person.
Like, I like some of Donnie Yen's performances are good. Like Wuxia is really good in that. I think he's actually quite good in that because director Peter Chan usually gets the best out of his actors, except for Bong Xiaoming in that American Dreams in China or whatever. That's just crap. And I remember reviewing Chasing the Dragon, and I wrote a review on it. And I remember saying that Donnie Yen his performance is crap in the film, and I just got jumped on Twitter. Yeah, it's like, no, he's good in it, It's like, yeah, he may be good, just not in this film, I just didn't like his performance at all. Like, the wig doesn't help, or wigs. And there's a part where he overacts, like, I don't know, someone he loves dies, and you see the shot from the distance, and you just yelling at people, like, what is this? What is this in Cantonese? And it just made me laugh out loud. It's just embarrassing.
Anybody else got any thoughts on Mulan?
I have no interest.
Mulan. I don't care about these Disney remakes of live action. I don't care about any of them. I watched 5 minutes of the Jungle Book and I turned it off because I'm like, I've seen this fucking movie before.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
I actually watched all of Beauty and the Beast And I said, and then at the end, I was like, why did I watch that? I could have watched the original. They're just printing money Disney are just printing money at the moment, and people are stupid if they think that they're going to stop just doing the carbon copy of these movies. It's going to be the exact same Mulan movie we saw, like back in what, 98 or whenever.
I hear that there's like magic in Mulan, and that pissed off some people as well. Because yeah, apparently there's magic in it. Like,
are they going to have the dragon?
Like Gong Li is cast as a witch, which is she's the main villain of the film. I'm like, what? No, like,
maybe they are changing it.
And apparently Mulan herself has magic within her, which makes it pretty bullshit.
Disney, now that they own Star Wars, they're putting Star Wars in their Disney classics. Is that what they're doing? That's what it sounds like.
I don't know, but it's just bullshit. It's like, nah, like I don't need hard work to, achieve what I want to achieve. I got magic. Magic solves everything, It's bullshit.
All right, no more Disney. What are your thoughts on change in approach of regional movies in India? What do you mean? Like how people? I don't understand the question really. Change in approach. Do you mean the way people think about regional cinema? I mean, all I can do is keep promoting them. That's all I can do, and hopefully people see the reviews and go, "Oh, that sounds like a movie I want to watch." And then they watch it and they go, "Ah." They're on their path has been set. All right, Anurag Kashyap and I can't pronounce that name are directing. Oh, the director of Udon and Trapped, excellent. Are directing a Netflix series, Sacred Game, based on a thriller novel with the same name. All right, I'm down for that.
It's on Netflix.
Have any of you seen Avengers: Infinity War? We're not talking about Infinity War. I'm assuming Ray, you've seen it.
I've seen it, yeah. But to see it a couple more times.
He just wants us to spoil the film. I mean, clearly.
No, this is somebody else. This is a different person.
Oh, okay.
I think Erik and I are in the same boat where we don't care.
Well, I'll watch it when it comes on streaming.
Yeah,
I generally enjoy them, but I'll just watch it when it comes on streaming.
That's what I've done with most of them. If when it's on Netflix, it won't be Netflix by that time. It'll be Disney's own streaming service, which is coming up. No, that's what they're doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Disney are going. Because now Disney own Fox as well, right?
Oh, damn.
Well, it hasn't been approved yet. That'll be another year before it gets approved.
Well, when it happens, it's gonna fuck the industry, I tell you. Well, Disney already own 40%, something like 40% of the film industry is owned by Disney now, because they own Fox, they own Marvel, they own Lucasfilm, and then they have their own stuff. And Disney are planning on creating their own streaming thing like Netflix. So that's why you'll start to see a lot of Disney, anything Fox, Disney is just going to disappear from Netflix because that'll go on Disney's own streaming service.
Yeah, that's news to me.
That's why Netflix are doubling down and just producing a shitload of content because they know it's going to happen. So you didn't like Ip Man. Ip Man was fine. I thought those movies were okay. They're cool. The third one, I didn't really care for Mike Tyson in the film.
I think they just announced Ip Man 4, or at least like Donnie Yen.
Yeah. I saw the poster for that at Film Art. But there's another film, another Ip Man film coming out this year in a few months, which is a spin-off film that looks better than any of the Ip Man films.
Well, it's got Jin Zhang in it. Yeah, exactly. I'll watch anything with him.
Yeah. Look at the cast. It's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Just out of context, what are your thoughts on Memento and Donnie Darko? We mentioned Donnie Darko before. I'm not a fan. I love Memento, though. Erik?
I think Memento still could be Christopher Nolan's best film, or my favorite of his. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Guy Pearce is my favorite Australian actor, so I just watch him in anything.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Donnie Darko is just not for me. Harris, thoughts on those two?
I don't remember those two. I've seen them. I certainly liked them. I just don't remember them much.
Yeah.
I really got to watch Memento again.
Oh, dude, you have to. It's great.
Like, I remember watching the chronological version. I don't know why, dude. It's just
That would be interesting, actually. I'd like to watch that.
It's weird. It's just, hey, it's there for you to see. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Ray?
I liked Donnie Darko, but it was one of those movies I had to watch it a couple more times to start to like it. But Memento, loved it. Yeah, it's definitely one of those films that like I can't recommend enough.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next one. Which Asian country deserves more recognition when it comes to film or countries? Does anybody want to take a stab?
What do we mean by recognition? Do we mean like global popularity?
Do we mean like
Oscars?
Yeah. Do you mean exactly? Do you mean popularity, Oscar nominations?
I mean, South Korea should get nominated at some point. I would think for the Oscar, best foreign language film. At some point, you think they get nominated. So that's
they might, but then at that point, it'll just be token nomination,
Yeah, true.
And they'll tick that one off their list. Oh, they've got one now. We'll go back to giving stuff to Europeans, or Spanish. Like South America, where So yeah, with that question, what do you mean, foreign film fanatic? Can you reword that question, please? So Hill says, "Hi guys, hi." Bono Smith. What's your opinion on the rubbish, The Last Jedi? I think it's rubbish. I agree. I hated it. I think we spoke about this on another podcast, but Harris, what were your thoughts on The Last Jedi?
Yeah, I'm just going to hide under the table and say that I like it.
I think the other two liked it as well, so it's fine.
I liked
the film. I enjoyed it very much. Like,
that's fine.
I saw it 3 times actually. Which is a rare feat for me because the last film I did that was for Mad Max Fury Road. Sorry. Yeah,
Erik?
and
I remember liking it quite a bit. It has. I'm very interested in rewatching it soon to see if it holds up and how I felt about it in the theater because it has certain moments that I just thought were phenomenal. But it'll be interesting to rewatch and to see if the whole film just kind of works again for me.
Yeah, like I'm at that stage now where I'm just becoming a cranky old man. I was like, I didn't like it. I had flashbacks of the prequels when I watched it. And I was just like, I'm done. But if you want to, anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, what's popular right now, other than trailer reactions, is middle-aged men complaining about Star Wars.
about their childhood being ruined, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of those channels popping up where every day they just put out like 3 or 4 videos and each video gets like 10,000 hits. And these guys their channels aren't huge yet. They've got between like 10 to 30,000, which is, pretty fucking big.
apathetic film reviews.
Yeah.
Passive aggressiveness.
So if you want to hit that while it's hot, then create your own Star Wars outrage channel and just be outraged at everything Star Wars. Make sure you buy all the toys and get pissed off.
And possibly break them at the end.
Yeah. Get pissed off at movies that are made for children. All right. Next one. What are your thoughts on Asian actors working in Hollywood? I think for the most part, if they're from South Korea, Japan, India, wherever, they're usually completely wasted and given terrible parts. And a lot of the time I don't understand why they even bother because, and I always use Australia as an example. The Australian film industry is pretty shithouse and you can't really make a career here. It's not like Japan, South Korea, India, where you can just be like the highest paid actors in the world are from India and China, and like they're huge. Like they make more money than Hollywood actors. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, well, why the fuck would you even bother going to Hollywood? a part of me thinks it's a narcissism thing because a lot of actors are very narcissistic and it's all about me, me, me. So I think they want a monopoly on the international thing and they're not really content with just being mega rich and mega popular in their own country. So they want to crack Hollywood. Australian actors don't really have a choice. I mean, you can't really have a career here as an actor. You kind of have to go overseas. It's very, very difficult here. We don't really have a studio system. Everything is government funded. And, you know, when you see Cate Blanchett and Jeffrey Wright, all these huge actors in Australian films, they're doing it because they want to help the industry. They're not really doing it because they're getting paid anything. That's why, you know, you'll see, you know, big Australian actors in these like little Aussie movies. They don't need to do that. They do it to keep the industry here going, what is left of the industry. But guys, I'll pass that question on to you. What do you think about Asian actors in Hollywood? Anyone who want to start? Right?
I agree with you. I think they're mostly wasted. It's kind of frustrating to watch them there. Even like Tadanobu Asano has been in like half a dozen Hollywood movies now, and like bit roles, like the Thor movies and stuff like that.
Battleship.
Do anything. Like, what does he fly there, film for a day, and then fly back? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, Byung-hun Lee is another big one. Oh, Tang Wei has been in a few movies. Like, how do you have Tang Wei in a movie and not really utilize her that well? She was in that Black Cat movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of annoys me. It's definitely, and like I said, it's opportunity cost. They probably could have made, you know, something more worthy of them, maybe in a different country.
Right?
Yeah, definitely waste opportunities. I also think that, like, I don't know, maybe Hollywood doesn't know how to market them so that way they have stronger, more central roles. I mean, we do have a few that get some of those roles, but it's mostly like the villain or like someone who guides the lead character to their eventual destination.
Or knows how to fight.
What's that?
Or knows how to fight.
Or knows how to fight.
Jet Li.
Exactly. Knows how to fight. Jet Li. Even Lee Byung-hun, like he's just the guy who takes off his shirts and fight. You know, fights.
It's not a bad thing, I must say.
It's not a bad thing. I actually watch Lee Byung-hun movies, or Hollywood movies, just for that, to be honest. But yes, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I would say that it's been making progress throughout the years, but I mean, at least we've been seeing a few more pop in. But and even with movies like the upcoming Mulan, that has like what's her name, Liu Yifei. Although I don't think she's a great actress, but I mean,
she's shit house.
Yeah, she can't. I mean, it's funny.
Carry your film, Disney. You
She's
can't
not.
make a mistake.
She's not gonna look like a man either.
So like when everyone was hyping up, they got Chinese actors to like in this movie. It's like, that's cool, but come on, choose better ones, please.
Yeah.
You know, like.
They clearly chose her because she's popular. That's basically it.
Yeah, that's it. They got to sell the movie. And they want to sell it to China. China's the big draw card for a lot of films now.
Yeah, I think some actors are kind of like they're there and they're great, but people don't remember their names. Like Sanada Hiroyuki, like the guy, he played the lead character in 47 Ronin, and he's going to be the bad guy in John Wick 3.
Yeah,
but not many people could. Like, if you show him a picture of the
he
face,
was also in
like,
the Wolverine
Last Samurai.
and the Last Samurai. Yeah,
and the Last Samurai. Yeah, people will throw like those roles like that there, but they don't really like. They wouldn't really recognize the name. But I just wish that Hollywood knew how to market them better, so that way they get these more stronger central roles. But,
I think the only Japanese actor that people would recognize would be Ken Watanabe. Really,
yeah, definitely Ken Watanabe.
Mainstream. Yeah. But even he's wasted in most things.
Let them fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty good line, though. That was the best line of the movie. He got it. So, hey, at least he didn't get killed off in the first 10 minutes like another great actor in the film.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I like Rinko Kikuchi, though.
Yeah.
That's good.
She was she nominated for an Oscar or something?
For Babel, was it?
Yeah. For Babel.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something. Yeah, she was good in Pacific Rim, then completely wasted part 2. I'm not
I
gonna say what
haven't seen
happened.
part 2. I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't care.
Oh no, it's trying to fund it, and you will easily see it.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
Oh, clearly, like
It's a Legendary
it's-
Pictures. It's Chinese.
Oh yeah, exactly right. Like when Americans speak Chinese, the Chinese actors are like, "Yeah, just stop it. You suck at Chinese. We'll take over. All right." That's what happens in the movie, man.
Really?
Yeah, that's what happens. Just stop
Oh,
it, man.
wow.
It actually happens, and I'm glad for that, though.
I might watch it when it comes on like Netflix or something. What else have we got? What anime series are you guys currently watching? Me, My Hero Academia season 2. I'm not watching anything at the moment. I'm really picky with anime. Is anybody watching anime at the moment? Ray?
Nothing new. Oh,
Nothing. No. That's
I'm
all right. Yeah,
nothing new.
nothing.
I'm stuck on Cowboy Bebop. I'm just kidding.
I
But
was
I
thinking
really
of
like
rewatching. I was thinking of rewatching Ergo Proxy, which I just purchased. That's
Okay.
one that I liked from the past that I'll rewatch.
Yeah, I just rewatch stuff because I'm a grumpy old man. I don't like things that are new.
Yeah.
Like I just
Ergo
stick
Proxy
to
was-
anime films. What? Ergo Proxy?
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like I'm just stuck on old ones. Like I watch like Space Dandy and
Yeah.
Terror and Resonance, and I just like anime films better than series. Really, like I just my time is better spent instead of just watching like One Piece, which just goes on forever. It's just
Yeah, recently
right.
I've been like, well, there's a lot of anime here on Netflix, and what I do is like, there's a lot of anime that are just kind of one-offs. Like you don't have to follow them from season 1 to season 100. You just watch any random episode, and like those are the ones I've been watching. Like I don't know, Chibi Maruko-chan or Crayon Shin-chan, and they're just stupid just to have in the background, but they're just entertainment. Like and there's loads of anime. I don't know how much anime is in your guys' Netflix, but here there are heaps of them. But even Hulu here as well. But speaking of Cowboy Bebop, Paris, they're opening up a cafe here in Tokyo in the next month.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
that's awesome,
it's gonna be here for like about a month and a half, I think. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop theme cafe.
Damn, that is great, man.
Yeah, it's pretty random to bring out of nowhere, though, to be honest. But yeah.
All right, next one. What are your thoughts on the Man of Tai Chi film from Keanu Reeves? I haven't seen it.
Funny.
It's funny.
No, like the martial arts is good, like because Keanu Reeves clearly understands how to film it. Although he had this camera that was supposed to go all one take, like around the fight scene, but apparently he couldn't bring the camera to China or something, so therefore he just filmed it normally. But yeah, Keanu Reeves himself as a villain is hilarious. It's just downright funny. Like he knows his limitations as an actor, so sometimes when he like does those villainous things like laugh maniacally, it just cuts away to Tiger Chen instead of seeing him do the actual laugh. You hear him laugh off screen, but you see the reaction of the other person. He knows his acting is limited to be forgiving.
Those bloody wolves chasing me through that dark inferno. My favorite Keanu performance of all time. Yeah, Black Stuff Abbey.
Yeah, I saw Man of
Bram
Tai Chi
Stoker's
as well.
Dracula.
It was all right, Man of Tai Chi. It had a lot of action in it, most of which was pretty good. I just looked at my notes, and apparently Karen Mock had like a supporting role in this, and I don't even remember in it, so she was probably wasted. And the big problem is that you build up to a fight involving Iko Uwais, and it's it's not as good as it should be. The ending, that was my big gripe with it.
I think the point of that is like, have you seen the movie Funny Games? It's basically like audience. It's like horror movie, like basically you're just fucking with audience expectation and what to expect. Like, you think the mother's got to grab the knife and kill the bad guy? No, that doesn't happen. I'll just grab the remote and rewind it. like I think it kind of feels the same way in Man of Tai Chi. Like, you know, they record the guy's life and like, oh, we see him corrupted, you know. And at the end, it's like, we don't expect him to fight Hugo Wiser again, so he's going to turn into this beast like we wanted, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like an audience expectation thing. Like, it didn't piss me off that much, but I can understand why it would.
All right, back to Foreign Film Fanatic. He's reworded his question. Just recognition in general. So this is about Asian films getting more recognition, not just from Oscars. Most people know of Hong Kong, Japanese cinema. Not a lot of people talk about Southeast Asian cinema. I don't know how to word it any better. I don't know, man.
Well,
it's always going to be a niche market in the West, I think.
No, Vietnamese cinema is getting a bit better, I guess. I mean, they're remaking Sunny. You know that Korean movie Sunny?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is Japan.
Yeah, Japan, exactly. So it's Japan and a Vietnamese version coming out. That's just wow, okay. I didn't expect
I could tell you that Indonesia and the Philippines need to up their distribution in the United States because it's impossible to find it, like a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
And Filipino cinema, it's funny because even my Filipino friends are just clown on cinema. It's like, unless you want to watch like the same tear-jerking drama over and over again, it's like there's not much variety.
I saw Birdshot the other weekend.
How was that? People have been recommending me that film.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good.
I'm gonna watch it. Netflix.
Birdshot.
So you got Birdshot. On the Job was fantastic. That was a really great Filipino film. You have Metro Manila, not technically a Filipino film, but still, you know, Filipino actors, crew, all that stuff. But
I'm gonna watch that. I got the Blu-ray in somewhere.
Yeah, Metro Manila is amazing.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. I think it just they need to do more like online marketing or something like that. I don't know what the solution is. I find this a lot of like the movies I watch, and the same with all of us really, when we watch these Asian movies, we're part of the marketing, I guess. We're doing reviews of these movies in hope that more people will see them. But I think the studios need to, I don't know, get behind people like us maybe and kind of use us as a tool to help them promote their films or promote them more online. I think there's a lot missing from like promoting online. You don't see a lot of it. You don't see you see like these YouTube channels that a lot of companies have started, but they don't really put much effort into their videos and things like that.
Some just stopped entirely. Like they haven't updated in like 3 years or something.
Yeah, they really need to keep on top of that kind of stuff. Because
in the question, he says, "Oh, people know Japanese cinema, but I don't think they do." I mean, they know classic Japanese cinema because a lot of that stuff was released and is available. You know, they know the classic directors. But there's a lot of contemporary Japanese films that, and some of it is the fault of the Japanese and distribution. But that's why I've been, the last few months I've been reviewing like Japanese films that are like low-key dramas that are available. Because when Full Metal Alchemist comes out, that's all I hear is Japanese movies are terrible. And I'm like, no, there's like a lot of good ones here.
Well, it's the same thing with Korean stuff. People be like, Korean movies are amazing. Oh, what have you watched? I watched Oldboy and Train to Busan. Like,
it's not enough.
That's not it. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I saw a Korean movie once. Oh, okay. So, that's the average person. Most people I talk to, it's like, I don't want to read subtitles.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame, but that happens.
Yeah.
But that's the same, and that's everywhere. That's why you will get a remake of Sunny in Japan, and you'll get a remake of Sunny in Vietnam, because you know what? People are the same everywhere. People don't want to read fucking subtitles. It doesn't matter if you're Japanese or South Korean or Vietnamese or... In India, you've got one film like Drishyam that gets made fucking 7 times in 7 different languages because people don't want to read fucking subtitles. That's what it comes down to. Everywhere. It's a shame. people go, why did they remake this? It's because people don't want to read subtitles. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And that's people everywhere. It's not just people in the West. It's people in different regions and different countries. That's a universal human thing.
I used to figure like if you want to watch this, if you want to understand this movie, you will not be bothered by the subtitles.
Exactly.
If you are bothered by the subtitles, then you do not want to understand this film. I used to think that, but that's just me being a bit naive.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that, also the fact that the average Joe doesn't know where to access these kinds of films, let alone know of the existence of a lot of these films too, and a lot of the studios recognize that and they exploit that. That's how I feel, at least.
All right, what do we got here? I'm gonna have to get going soon. Harris and I are in Australia, where it's like almost 1 a.m.
Yeah, it is.
What have we got here? If studios start using YouTubers for marketing, they will eventually be paying for just positive reviews. No, I don't think so. I'm just saying, like, you just need to utilize, like, no, I'm not saying like, well, reviewers need to have some fucking integrity for a start, and that's on them. And you have reference like Collider and Screen Junkies, and you've got your Jeremy Janses and your Chris Stuckmans, who, yes, they are going to say nice things because they like to go to the big lavish premieres and stuff. But I would like to think there are people out there that do have integrity and will be like, "Nah, the movie was shit." Like, but that's the thing. It's still marketing. It's still promoting the film. Like, people will watch movies. Like, even if a YouTuber says, "Oh, the movie's shit," people will still watch it. It's still promotion. I can only speak from experience. When Mad Men Australia started giving me DVDs and letting me go to screenings and stuff, the first fucking 3 things I did were all like ripping on every single movie. I was worried, and I actually said, "Look, I'm seeing these movies and I'm not liking them." And they're like, "We don't care. We don't care." And that's what if they're a decent distributor with good, honest people, they will realize that any publicity is good publicity. So, obviously Disney going to have their Disney shills, and they have that monopoly. But I'm talking like Asian cinema in general, like, it's different.
Well,
I don't know.
Just this past weekend, I watched a movie called The Room with Tommy Wiseau as the director. And the only reason I watched, there's 2 reasons I watched it. Number 1 is because I kept hearing everybody say how terrible it was. And number 2, I want to watch The Disaster Artist, and I figured I should watch the original before So there's a perfect example for you, right?
Yeah. And another one is Confession of Murder.
Oh,
your favorite movie, if I remember. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Even though I ripped on that film, I still think people should watch that movie, and people will watch that movie after watching that video. People will be like, "I got to see how bad this is." I got
to see the part where the guy falls off the building and has his head smashed through the window of a bus. It looks like he cut his head off or something.
That's the best part of the movie. That first 10 minutes. Lemon Pickles. Who is that Asian man? Well, which one? There are 2.
The one with the Elvis
I'm going to say
that.
I think they're talking about Harris. Harris is Harris.
I'm a film critic, man. Apparently, I write for websites like Eastern Kicks and V Cinema and Iris and Impulse Gamer, and I just love movies, man. That's basically right down to it.
That's why Harris is on. Harris has commented on my videos for years now, I want to say.
Yeah, as Art Vanderlei.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. 2 more questions. Your favorite romance movie? Mine is Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan.
Oh, the hobbling scene. That's just romantic and touching.
All right, Ray, favorite romance film?
Any country or in Asia?
I think it's just that, just in general, I think, Ben.
Favorite romance film? That's She's All of That with Rachel Lee Cook. That
Nice.
just takes me back to high school.
I know, me
was-
too. Because
Yeah,
you
I
know
was a
what? You
huge
take
Rachel Lee Cook.
a really beautiful, like disgustingly hot woman and you put
Disgustingly
glasses on her, and that
she's
makes
even
her
more
ugly.
But
Apparently.
it has it's the reverse effect. It just makes them all the more.
I know, it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
like she was hot to begin with. What are you talking about?
It's just more contained now.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, your favorite romance?
This one's easy for me. And ironically, it has a smoking hot woman that they put glasses on to make her less attractive. And that's Green Tea, Chinese romance film with Zhao Wei and Zhang Wen.
Yeah, I heard of that.
I freaking love this movie. It's a little artsy, but it's just the dialogue, the way it's shot. Christopher Doyle did the cinematography. It's just utterly phenomenal. I highly recommend
Probably
Green Tea.
very drunk at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, always.
Christopher Doyle, Mr. Alcoholism himself. Harris, your favorite?
Well, if I had to pick an Asian one, I'd pick An Autumn's Tale. You guys heard of that? With Chow Yun-fat and Cherry Chung.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's filmed entirely in the US, and it's back in '87, and I think it's like one of the most understated romantic stories ever. I mean, like Chow Yun-fat, I think that's his best performance in that movie. I'm getting a bit teary right now. That's the point. Yeah, but Chow Yun-fat is really good in this movie, and Cherry Chung is great. Like Chow Yun-fat, he just plays like a normal person, and like the best romantic movies, they never confess how they feel. They never say how they feel, like on screen. It's like they just act it out, whether it's like a glance or something. It's really good. I highly recommend it.
My favorite romantic film. I don't know if it counts, but it's my favorite. Well, one of my favorite comedies. I'm very, very, very picky when it comes to comedy. I think comedy is very hard to do. I think it's the hardest of all. I like it because it's kind of like a romantic comedy from a male's perspective, and that's High Fidelity with John Cusack. If you're a guy and you hit 30 and you're like me and you watch that film and you go, holy shit, that is me. That character is me. His like relationships have all failed. He like doesn't understand why. He's having like a pre-midlife crisis. And then I think the most realistic proposal scene in any film. So if you want to find it, it's really well acted, really well written. Just type in YouTube it. It's probably on YouTube. High Fidelity proposal scene. And it's John Cusack. He's drinking at a pub. It's like fucking 10 in the morning. His girlfriend of many years has come in. He's gone off. Like they've broken up. And he just doesn't know what he's doing with his life. You know, he's like early 30s. He owns a record store. He's got no prospects. And his girlfriend's beautiful and successful and whatever. They break up. He tries to get back with her and he does everything he can. But before he goes to get back with her, he goes back to all of his past relationships and asks them, what did I do wrong? What's the problem? Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, she comes in and he's like, I want to get married. And she's like, what? He's like, I'm tired of thinking about it all the time. She's like, oh, that's so romantic, like sarcastically. And it's just amazing. It just spoke to me. And that's my favorite. romantic comedy, if you want to call it that, I guess.
That's
It is hey?
That's one movie I haven't seen. I really should get
Really
back
high
to that.
fidelity. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I've heard about it. It's just I never got the time round to it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a movie that really spoke to me. What have we got next? Korean movies are my ting. That's good to know. Drake Media. Verified. I don't know who that is. But thank you, Drake Media. Korean movies are amazing. I have a question. Why Korean movies are better than Hollywood, Hong Kong, or Japanese movies? Well, that depends on your view. I guess it depends if you think Korean films are better, are the best. I personally think, if we're going to go Hollywood, Hong Kong, Japan, yes, I do think Korean movies are better, but that's my opinion. They haven't been this year. 2018 has been a pretty rubbish year so far. I mean, I said the same thing in 2017. I was like, oh my God, this isn't a good year, but then it picked up towards the middle. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen with this. But what do you guys think? Do you think Korean movies are better than Hollywood, Hong Kong, or Japanese films? I do. But then again, I might be showing my bias there.
I got to break it down by genre.
Right.
You'd have to do like a whole analysis, but I would say two things that Korea does well. Well, the two genres I like a lot in South Korea are thrillers and romantic comedies, if I were to pick genres there. But I think every country does things well and does some things not so well. So you'd have to like really go through and say, okay, what does Hollywood do well? Like, for example, big budget blockbusters, I'd rather watch a Hollywood one than a Japanese one. You know what I mean? But, in terms of like low-key dramas, I'd rather watch a Japanese one over Hollywood. So it's like it's all based on genre to me. So I can't really say that. I think all those film industries have their positives and negatives.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I think I agree with Eric there, and it also depends on like which country's voice you would like to hear more. For example, you take war movies of each of these countries. They're all going to be slanted towards whatever narrative they have. So like a Korean war movie on the same war would be way different than a Japanese movie of the same one. And even like when it comes to blockbusters, like Hollywood has all the money. Japan doesn't. That's why a lot of times, like movies like Full Metal Alchemist, you have cheesy ass CG. But then Japan does know how to do. I mean, does like I think they have more hits than misses, but like adaptations of their comics pretty well. Just because everyone's willing to cosplay, and that's fine. When it comes to romantic movies, I think Korea. I like older Korean romantic films. I don't know much recently any recent Korean romantic films that come out that are
you talking like My Sassy Girl?
Yeah, like that age. It's like during that time, during that whole initial wave, that I don't know, like that was the era of Korean romantic films that I watch. I don't know much nowadays, and that's the same with also horror in general. Like I think like around the same time, like when we had The Ring and The Grudge, that was kind of like when it was during its big hype. But I think nowadays it's kind of calmed down a lot. Well, I mean, Eric can prove me wrong because he's been talking about Asian horror films like for a while. But yeah, at least that's what I think.
Cool, Harris.
Well, currently, Korea is better at films right now. I guess currently, like. Because mainly China films, I really don't want to talk about the quality. I mean, you guys think they're kind of bad right now, or kind of?
Oh man, I've just kind of. Well, I've got a mainland China review coming tomorrow, but it was a movie I watched when I was in Hong Kong, and I just haven't gotten around to reviewing it. And I was like, I'm like, is it too far gone? And then I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll review it anyway. And it's Monster Hunt 2 for those that want to know.
I've seen that. Yeah. It's fine for what it is.
It's
like there's no plot.
Yeah, it's pretty much a rehash of the first one. Tony Leung is in it, Little Tony. and he is like, he's dubbed.
Yeah, he is dubbed, exactly, yeah.
Because I'm guessing he can't speak Mandarin.
Or just maybe it's the accent. I'm assuming it's the accent.
Maybe it's the accent. I don't know. But some of it's really, I don't know. You hire him and then you just dub him. It's like, anyway, he's just paycheck movie for him, clearly.
Hey, Corey, make sure that you watch The Looming Storm from 2017. It's a Chinese thriller that you might like.
All right. I'll add that to the list. But yeah, mainland China films. But as much as I liked the Wolf Warrior movies because of how stupid they were,
exactly.
I really do dislike they're propaganda films at the end of the day. And I'm pretty sure Operation Red Sea looks like a similar thing. And I'm just,
that is explosive and gory as hell. Like,
really?
You want to watch like a action experience? That's basically it.
All right.
And like it's so gory that one person's face is basically half off.
See, I'm surprised the Chinese government allowed them to do that.
Is this like a censorship thing? Or?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it's China's winning, so who cares, right?
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
But it's really brutal stuff. I mean,
yeah. But back to the thing, you think Korean films are on top when it comes to like Hollywood, Hong Kong, Japan? At the moment, currently.
In 2016, they were like definitely.
Yeah, 2016, definitely. Yeah,
that was a very great year. But yeah, like you said, like they did sink 2017, and now
this year it's.
Yeah, like Gonjam was all right. The found footage horror one.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. That was okay. But again, it's not something. It's not a Train to Busan. It's not something you're going a horror film that's going to be spoken about, and it's not a global phenomenon, you know.
And I saw Be With You, the remake of
that
Japanese movie with the same name, which was I prefer the Japanese one, to be honest.
Yeah, I did too. But that's what happens when you remake like a 10-year-old, maybe even more, Japanese film. And then obviously Golden Slumber was a remake of a Japanese film.
Yeah, I haven't seen that though. Like, is that good?
Oh, the Korean one or the Japanese one?
The Korean one. Yeah.
It's you know, I've seen this movie before. I saw it years ago when it came out. Like I saw the Japanese one. Like it's like I'm watching the same movie just with fucking Korean actors.
Yeah, it's not completely different like say The Quiet Family and Happiness of the Kangaroos. It's nothing like that.
It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. All right, what have we got here? My favorite Malayalam movie so far. Depends. Again, it's so hard to say, but one I keep thinking about often is Takeoff, and I keep talking about that movie. So I figure if I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about it, then it must be pretty damn good. I don't know if I'll. Righto. I think Ushana Ali is being a bit silly. One girl from Asian cinema you would marry. One you would have a one-night stand with. I wouldn't do such. I wouldn't do such a thing. I would never get married. All right, guys. I think we'll leave it there. That's a good point to leave. 1 o'clock in the morning here. I have to go to bed. Harris needs to go to bed. Thank you guys for joining me. I will leave the links to Asian Filmist and Asian Movie Enthusiast in the thing. Harris, is there anything I can link to? Have you got like a blog you write?
Yeah, I'll send you the link later, actually. Yeah.
All right, yeah, do that tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
I'll add it to this. But thanks for joining me, guys. We will be back next month with another one. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe we'll do a follow-up to this. I don't know. We shall see. We will decide and let you know. But thanks to everybody that watched this, and thanks to everybody that'll watch it at a later date. I think a lot of people just end up watching this at a later date, which is fine. But thank you very much. See you, everyone who is watching.
Hi, guys.